The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it does now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Eternal Father, bless, guide us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil powers, be our light through comfort. To our leaders, great defenders, grant wisdom from above, justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak. Give us wisdom lest we perish.
The following is a public service announcement.
The Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force and One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation invite Jamaican patriots and friends in the tri-state area to the second staging of a call to action. Meet us on Friday, May 10th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Jamaica's Consulate, located at 300 East 42nd Street, corner 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. That's a call to action for Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica.
Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force, in association with the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council, presents on the 26th of July 2024 Jamaicans and Friends of Jamaica. Join us in conference as we speak against corruption, crime, poverty, failed healthcare, poor education, and injustice in Jamaica. This takes place on the 26th of July at 1320 Ellesmere Road, Ontario, Canada. This conference starts 3 till 10 p.m. Guest speakers on the day: Wayne Lonesome, Will Rattigan, Mystic Sensation, Herb Nelson Jr., Aromatic, Sister Maria, Jamaican Carlos, Dr. Rupert Francis, Jeffrey Tavares, and more. This is going to be a very important event for all Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica. Don't miss this event if you care about our country. Jamaicans in the diaspora, we can make a difference.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday to everyone in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate the continued support. All right, guys. So remember, when you come in, thumbs up the live. Share us out if you can. And for those who are new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. And thank you so much to all the new persons who have joined the movement. Really appreciate the support. Tonight, topics we're going to be discussing: hurricane preparedness, healthcare in crisis, propaganda, media, and politics of exclusion. So, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. And as Hurricane Beryl heads towards Jamaica, we are imploring that everybody takes the warnings of those in authority and all the instructions very seriously and abide by them for your own safety, because a Category 4 hurricane is no joke. And make sure that you all keep safe. Those in low-lying areas, make sure you go to higher grounds and make sure you get the necessary stuff together that you might need or you're going to need after the hurricane passes, because you know we are always incapacitated for at least a couple of days or weeks, depending on where you're located. So please, please, please follow the instructions of the authorities and make sure that you take this very, very seriously. All right, so let me just welcome everyone in the chat: Don Mel, SG, Janet Jones, Larry Beckford, Andrea Hunt, Yvonne Johnson, John Plew, Jeffrey Worrell, Lassam, Carla Ebanks, Una Vastal, Doris McCoy, Beverly Edwards, Louis Longshaw, John Gottlieb, Lloyd Fang, Donovan Hoylett. Rejoice always in him. Welcome, welcome. Hope I didn't skip over anybody. And thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody's support. Without any further delay, I am going to hand over to Baron. Sam, welcome.
All right. Thank you, Oni, for that. And, we cannot overly, stress, right, the fact that we are in a situation as it relates to a Category 4 hurricane, right, that is, approaching Jamaica. And again, we have to say to all Jamaicans, please heed to all the precautions, right, that being passing out there as it relates to the respective authorities, right? For people who live in the low-lying areas, right, you know that you are to prepare in terms of, find, right, a higher ground. Now, you have to remember that there are a lot of channels, right, culverts that have not been properly maintained. And as such, that every flow of water is going to overspill. And of course, we are expecting to have some flooding. Without any further ado, to the fact that I am not an expert, I am not a meteorologist, I am going to give one of the most recent update, right, to able to furnish, right, some of the information to you. This has to be about safety for our brothers and sisters, right? And again, we are telling people to take the warning serious. This is a serious situation, right? So let me just give an highlight as it relates to certain coverage and burial, right? And for people to see what's happening. So without any delay, right, wife, you just bring up that clip so that we can educate our people, right? No, and let me say this before we get into the clip. For today, we should have Dr. Dawes, right, in studio, but unfortunately, Dr. Dawes will not be in studio today because he just texted me, right, and sadly regret that he cannot make it because of the hurricane preparation that he has to prepare, and that is really, right, I mean, understandable, right? And so then we wish him all the best, right? Hope that, Dr. Dawes, you and your family, right, are very much okay. And we're thankful to you, Dr. Dawes, to, be working assiduously for all Jamaicans where healthcare is concerned. We know that, you could make it today, right? And that is quite understandable because of the situation. So let me just set that clear. Now, so let us play that clip to edify our Jamaican people.
For Jamaica, they're next in line to get hit the hardest from this storm. Of course, it was once a Category 5, now Category 4. Honestly, category really doesn't matter at this point. By the time it makes its way towards Jamaica, certainly going to bring some very major impacts to that island, especially along the immediate coast on the south side. We are looking at, though, not just the impacts there, but they will be felt across parts of the Cayman Islands, even though they will not get a direct landfall from this hurricane. And of course, it will continue to move west-northwest here over the next couple of days, moving into the Gulf of Mexico as we head into this upcoming weekend. So the latest from Hurricane Beryl, max winds of 155 miles per hour, moving at about west-northwest around 22 miles per hour. So it is moving relatively quickly than some systems we've been tracking for several years here, of course. But hey, this is the newest update from the National Hurricane Center. The latest track taking Beryl up towards the southeastern coastline of Jamaica tomorrow, possibly very early in the morning or in the afternoon as a Category 4 storm. Then it will continue to brush past the Cayman Islands by Thursday morning, and then moving up towards the Yucatan Peninsula by Friday morning with winds of 75 miles per hour, Category 1 status. So the main goal here is that it is going to continue to battle wind shear, perhaps even a little bit of dry air as it makes its way over towards the Gulf of Mexico as well. So kind of weakening at that point by the time we get into the weekend, but potentially making 3 or maybe even 4 landfalls once all is said and done. Meanwhile, one of the impacts that will be felt from this storm will be very strong, if not damaging wind, hurricane force winds possible. This map just showing you the chances or probability of hurricane force winds. And you can see they're most likely going to be felt along the southern and western coastline of Jamaica as we head through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So very strong winds that could potentially knock down trees, even power outages, very likely from this system as we head through the next 24 hours. The other impacts that will be felt across parts of Jamaica, storm surge, 5 to 8 feet, and that's water above the ground, along with freshwater rainfall or flooding, I should say, anywhere upwards of 6 to 8 inches of rain possible in parts of Jamaica. So just a powerful and incredible storm. We'll continue to keep a close eye on it.
All right. You have it. Right. So that's a little bit of update as it relates to the most current news cast that we have. Welcome, Sister Daisy. Right. Looking beautiful as always. And really thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother, my sister Anne-Marie. How are you doing, sis? God bless. And you know something, my prayers to everybody in Jamaica right now. We all are on pins and needles, praying and hoping that, God will just make it go to the sea. You understand? Because this one looks like a very rough one.
It's a very rough one.
But we pray our way through. We pray our way through.
Yes, I also call my families and relatives, right?
Yeah.
And just telling them, to be prepared. And all Jamaicans, brothers and sisters, right? Please prepare. So we have, of course, Nikisha Burchell, right? Candidate, MP candidate, right, in St. James, right? She is also busy doing her route and, preparing, right, her constituency and in extension, Jamaican people, right, to be prepared. So let us tune in and hear what Nikisha Burchell has to say. All right. All right, so let us, yes.
We're in South St. James and we're very worried. We've been told that there may be a hurricane, holy water that may bring some flooding to the area. and we're concerned that our community may not be spared. We're seeing that the drains across the constituency, but in particular, Maroon Town, the Welcome Hall, and the Catadupa divisions, these drains have not been cleaned in many, many, many years. The Member of Parliament, Homer Davis, has been missing in action. He has not been maintaining the verges, the gullies, the drains. And so right now we're depending on the councillors to try to see what they can do ahead of Wednesday when we expect the heavy downpour. The allocation that is given to councillors to clean drains are supposed to be for the local parochial drains. The main drains along the main thoroughfares, the responsibility of the Member of Parliament, and he has neglected that responsibility. I'm asking you to take up your phone, help me to advocate, call him, call his office, and demand that he cleans the drains, the gullies, the channels in our constituency, because we don't want Hurricane Beryl to come here and ravage our homes, our crops, and our livelihood.
Please check to ensure you have emergency items at home. Water, water boots, food, raincoats, flashlights, batteries. Keep plastic bags, nails, hammer, and other tools handy. Have on hand simple first aid supplies. Stock 4 to 5 days supply of food and medicine, and keep food that does not need refrigeration to last. Make sure you have material for battening up doors and windows. See that your galvanized sheeting on your roof, outbuildings, and fences are securely fastened. If your house is in a high-risk area, subject to a storm surge or flooding, be sure you know of a safe shelter, preferably with relatives or friends, or learn the shelters in your area. Trim trees with branches near your buildings or near to electrical lines. Also pick fruits off trees as they can be carried by the wind and cause further damage. Be sure to understand the hurricane warning system. That is the 3 phases: the alert, watch, and warning. These are indicators of how far away the hurricane is from your location. Keep in touch with your parish disaster preparedness committee and know how the committee works. Stay safe. Let us survive Hurricane Beryl together.
Sister Maria, just imagine that as it relates to what Nikisha had just said during her investigation in the meantime, right, pre the arrival of Beryl. And this is the discovery that is coming out of her observation. Several drains, right, are blocked, not clean, right? The parochial drains and the main drains. Then I am saying that a government that care, right? And I'm not bringing the politics in this. This is very serious. We are anticipating, right, a category 4 burial, right? That is going to bury down on the island. And the government is not making the emphasis, right, to go and clean those drains, right? The parochial drains, right? The main drains, right? And so then the result from that is going to have a lot of flooding. What say you, Sister Maria?
Yeah, I mean, and you see, and that is the concern. And see, when you maintain something, then you don't have to run into this kind of problems. Because if the drains were being maintained and cleared consistently, you know, they're supposed to have a schedule for cleaning and cleaning drains, bushing and all of that, that it doesn't come to this where you have to be now rushing to do things because of a hurricane, which is only going to make the problem worse. So if they were really paying attention, you have to pay attention and maintain things. You know, that's why you have councillors and you have municipalities, because that is the job of these agencies, to do that. But I feel more for the people. You know, when I hear them talk about, you know, go and get this, get emergency stuff. How many Jamaicans right now can get emergency stuff? Those are the people that I'm most concerned about.
Exactly.
You know, people on medication, do they have a, you know, any medication that they can stock up, that they, you know, have, that can carry them through for a few days, even a week? You know, what I do feel for the people who cannot stock up. They cannot buy a can of mackerel. They can do nothing, you know. So we really have to pray that the worse doesn't come to worse. But if it does, that people step up and care for the neighbors. Now is the time for people to care for their neighbors and be neighborly. Look out for the elderly. Check on your elderly neighbors, elderly relatives. Check on the indigent. Check on the children. Check on those people whose houses are, as you said, it's gonna blow down because you look at it and you see that they're living in shacks. Check on people who live close to rivers. Make sure, check on people who live on hillside. You think that, they might have soil erosion. People now have to care one for another. It's now time to be their brother's keeper. People cannot be selfish in this time because at the end of the day, we are all in this together.
Exactly.
What affects one affects all. So it has to be a collective effort. And young people, look out for the elderly. Look out for your own family. Be safe doing so. But for the love of God, look out for your community. Look out for your community. If you think the schools are safer, try to get to a school before it is too late. Based on where you live, if you live in a low-lying area, try to get above ground as quickly as possible. Help the young people. Those of you who are right now can hear us. If you have devices, can hear us. Help out your neighbor. Tell your neighbor to help your neighbor because, word of mouth goes very quickly. So tell your neighbor to help your neighbor and try. I know the schools are open, so try to find a school to go to and seek some shelter before worse comes to worse. If your home is not safe, the best thing to do is try to find higher ground somewhere. Seek shelter in a safe space. But we have to be very concerned.
Yes, and we do. And let us stress the fact that for people who live in low-lying areas, right, we continue to tell you, right, to leave those areas and find some other places like what Maria spoke about, school, church, right? Just get in there, right? Don't try to, chance out a situation. If you know that you are in a low-lying areas, we cannot stop that much. Now, we are going to, of course, here you have Winnie Mead said, "Good night, Mystic, and everyone. The drain should clean every 9 months." So what they do with the money, right? Very good input there. So here it is, Sister Maria, that the Prime Minister says that, if the ministers and councillors and so forth get increased, right, they will do a better job. But here you have that the Prime Minister giving himself, you understand, and members of Parliament 200 and 300% increase, and you still have the situation where drains have not been cleaned for years, and so why are we paying them? It is the Prime Minister who came out and said, if they get better salary, you're going to get better performance, and they will set a performance matrix. So I'm asking Mr. Andrew Holness, what happened to the performance matrix? Right now, you have gotten better salary. Right, we are not seeing the better work being done. So all of this, Mr. Maria, just look like a joke. All of this just look like a joke. Daniel Taylor, I'm just wondering if this storm that is coming to Jamaica will bring Jamaicans together after the damaging effect it might bring with it. I am not, I hope that, limited damage that may done. Right, we are not going to be naive. Obviously, right, there are going to be damages. But, you said that, in desolate times, right, we should be our brothers' keepers, brothers and sister keepers, right, and making sure that, we're looking out for our neighbors. Look out for our neighbors, right? If you have particularly elderly people who live in the area, right, we need to check up on those elderly people, and if if they live in certain area that those are low-lying areas, and they may live in homes that are not, safe, or to say hurricane proof, right?
Yeah.
Please try and assist our elderly, right? Take them out of those vulnerable areas, and put them into a better area. Care for the elderly, care for your neighbors, care for your brothers and sisters.
Indeed.
And
But you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking, brother Byron, is this: that you see, when they spend whatever resources is allocated to a ministry or to a council, a municipality, and then to a councillor, when they spend it for the things that it was allocated for, we will not run into these. So I'm quite sure every year.
Oh, you're having some Wi-Fi problem there.
We have when it's not done, we have this kind of problem.
Yes.
And that is where we have to really, have the government pull up their socks in these kind of things.
Yes. And
I think I'm frozen.
Yeah.
I think I'm frozen.
We heard that. So without any delay, again, Wifey will be reading, right? Some advice to you as preparation, burial and post burial. So let us hear what Wifey has to read out as it relates to pre-burial and post burial.
Okay, so these are just some hurricane tips before, during, and after the hurricane, and it's from the Canadian Red Cross. So it starts: the Atlantic hurricane season runs from June to November. The best way to protect yourself and your family in case of a hurricane is to follow these steps. Identify a safe space on lower floors, but not the basement. Well, in Jamaica, don't have basement. Evacuate when instructed by authorities. Turn around, don't drown. Avoid flood waters. Prepare for secondary risks such as flooding, landslides, and damaged buildings before the hurricane. The key to staying safe is to prepare and to have an emergency plan in place. Listen to local news and weather reports for any potential hurricane watches and warnings in your area. Find out if you live in an area where hurricanes could happen and sign up for local alerts. Know the difference between a hurricane warning and a hurricane watch. A hurricane warning means a hurricane is already occurring or will occur soon in your area. Evacuate if advised to do so, and that is so very important, as Baron keeps stressing, for those in low-lying and flood-prone areas. A hurricane watch means a hurricane is possible in your area. Stay alert for more information. Trim dead trees and cut down dead trees to reduce the dangers of these falling on your house. So you trim the limbs of most of the trees, not to cut down the tree entirely, and it's a dead tree, right? So you trim the limbs of the trees. Secure everything on your property that can be blown around or torn loose. Secure windows and doors. Move electronics and valuable items away from breakable glass. If you live on the coast or in a low-lying area near the coast, be ready to move inland or to higher ground. High winds can create large waves, which may become storm surges when they reach the shore. Have your emergency kit ready. Families should be prepared to be self-sustaining for at least 3 days. Kits should include practical items such as drinking water, food, cash, and a portable radio. Because electricity might be out, so you need to have batteries for the portable radio. However, they should also include items such that are unique to your own family needs. This could include baby items, medical prescription, pet food, etc. If you have already dipped into your emergency kit and food supply while staying at home, consider safely getting the supplies to replenish it following your local public health authorities' guideline for leaving your residence. During the hurricane, be prepared to evacuate at a moment's notice. Stay informed by listening to the latest warnings and advisories. Tune into radio or local news channels and/or follow your local news outlet and emergency officials on social media if you have access. You can also find information, well, that is unique to us. Turn around, don't drown, avoid walking and driving through flooded areas. Never go out in a boat during a storm. If you're on the water and you see bad weather approaching, head for shore immediately. Do not go down to the water to watch the storm. It's very important because a lot of people like to be up close and personal. Evacuate if advised by authorities or community leaders. Be careful to avoid flooded roads and washed out bridges. If the eye of the hurricane passes over, there will be a lull in the wind lasting from 2 or 3 minutes to half an hour. Stay in a safe place on the main floor, but not in the basement during this time. Remember, once the eye has passed over, the winds will return from the opposite direction. After, continue to take precautions and listen to and follow directions from local authorities. Tune into the radio or local news channel and follow your local news outlet and emergency officials. Stay alert for extended rainfall and subsequent flooding even after the hurricane or tropical storm has ended. Be prepared for secondary disasters such as flooding, landslides, and building damages. If you suspect your home is unsafe, do not enter. Rely on the professionals to clear your home for re-entry if you are unsure. Stay away from damaged area and fallen power lines. Watch out for debris such as sheet metal, glass, and/or sharp materials. Do not use water that may have been contaminated. Throw out food that may have been contaminated, including from refrigerators and freezers, depending on how long the power has been out for. Wear long pants and long sleeve shirts and sturdy shoes when cleaning up. Examine your walls, doors, staircases, and windows for damage. Take pictures of damage, both of building and its content. Well, that has to do with insurance. And check with local authorities on how to properly dispose of damaged items from your home. Experiencing a disaster is challenging enough. It can feel even more difficult. The Red Cross has been many resources available to help navigate these challenging times.
All right. Okay, so take that away, honey. All right.
Maria. Sorry, Maria.
All right. Sorry about that, Maria. All right.
Yes, I noticed my system was going in and out, so I just shifted to something else. Yes.
Okay. So
Great
Maria,
information to share right there. Oh my gosh, just thinking about the people is unbelievable.
all right. So Maria, we just addressed the category 4 storm that we have as it relates to burial. But we have another storm, right? 2 storms simultaneously. We have burial and we have Chopper John. And him,
That is so funny.
storm.
Yeah.
What's Chopper John now? Because we finished with burial. We want to make sure that everyone, right, follow the guidelines and take the necessary precautions, right? The next storm that we are going to discuss now is Chopper John. That I mean, we have to take some precautions towards this sort of storm as it relates to Chopper John. Now, I just can't believe this. I cannot believe this. But I am going to play the clip and make the entire Jamaican hear this, home and abroad. Now, I am wondering if this person, right, has any form of inch of intelligence in terms of his utterances over social media. So then, not my word. I am going to have the people listen to this from Chopper John. And so then, saying to us Jamaicans that what the Prime Minister had spoken about as it relates to tracking persons, right? This is true. This is true. And no matter any amount of spin, right, it cannot spin. It is definitely what it is. So we are going to go down into the detail and then deal with Chopper John. Roy Washington, big up Mr. And Mrs. Mystic, Maria, and the YouTube family. Everyone in Jamaica, please stay safe right throughout this period. Thanks, Ro, for that contribution. Without any delay, let us get into this Chopper John's saga here.
Let me just share. There you go.
Okay.
You're going to read that first and then you're going to that.
So let us read this. Right? Let us read this first. This is information Minister Dr. Donna Morris Dixon has indicated the government readiness to go after people who spread blatant lies online. Okay, all right. Dixon also sought to assure Jamaicans that the government is not engaged in any tracking or curtailing of citizens who speak negatively of the administration. Then I mean, then what the government is doing from the very subtopic. I don't understand these people intelligence. From the very first paragraph, right? And then you are now countering yourself in the second paragraph. Here it is, Donna. Here it is, Mr. Donna. Information Minister Donna Morris Dixon has indicated the government readiness to go after people who spread blatant lies online. Hear what you said now in the second paragraph here. Dixon also sought to assure Jamaicans that the government is not engaged in any tracking or curtailing of citizens who speak negatively of the administration. People who have sense. What she's saying here, does that make sense? Does this make sense? Contradicting her own self. And these are people who say that they are so-called intelligence. Right? Up here, she's saying, Information Minister Donna Morris Dixon has indicated the government readiness to go after people who spread blatant lies online. And down here, Dixon also sought to assure Jamaicans that the government is not engaged in any tracking or curtailing of citizens who speak negatively of the administration. Let me not understand that. Speaking at this morning post-cabinet press briefing, Dixon is highlighting the government's concern about the spread of misinformation and disinformation on social media. Asserted that the administration is committed to protecting the country's democracy from these threats. Okay, what are these threats, Donna? What are the threats? The Prime Minister needs to come out and identify the lies and the threats against the government. The Prime Minister can't just speak in, you understand, blanketly. What are these threats? Identify the threats and identify the lies. Right? So we can set it straight. What the government is saying is that what is posted on social media needs to be based in truth. Okay, again, let me ask you, Andrew Ones, what are the lies? The statutory declaration for 2021, 2022, and 2023 cannot be certified. You want me to stop and speak about that? Right? That is not a lie. That is not a lie. So what are the lies? And in that vein, that we have said is that where there are issues of or instances where we know individuals have posted things that are not true, that we will have to go after those individuals in terms of prosecuting them. She said, well, the Prime Minister did not sign the Code of Conduct. None of his members of Parliament signed the Code of Conduct. We have over $600 billion being missing, right? As it relates to the health sector, right? Missing in the sense that there is no proper, right, accountable procedures put in place to give the proper account of those monies being missing. Overall, 1.7 trillion caught up in that process, where it is unable to track. No appropriate processes being followed. So we are the lies that are you talking about. I think that similar action has been taken in different countries dealing with issue of fake news. Which other countries you are talking about? Right? In a non-democratic countries, that people are going to lock down on freedom of speech. So this is another lie that you're telling. In the United States of America, people speak freely. In Canada, people speak freely. So what are the countries that you are talking about? Now let us take that away and get into something very serious here. Now, when we look on these issues, Sister Mary and Donna, right? Who you know, we have it that she's quite educated, right? And just from her comment, right, is just crisscrossing against herself. Right? So she needs to state what is going on, because she's saying in one instance is that the government is not tracking, the government is not this, the government is not that. And then in another instance, she's saying that the government is ensuring, right, that the government identified persons who are lying, and they will go after the person with possibly lawsuit and other whatever. Right, so that is a total confusion that you have just read there, Sister Mary. Right, now, Sister Mary, we are going to move on to a next telling clip.
But before you move on there, Baron, 1 second.
Yes.
You know, Andrew travel the world, and all Andrew can do is pick up the worst things from some part of the world and bring back to Jamaica. It doesn't apply to the Jamaican, in the Jamaican space.
Definitely.
And when you talk about you cannot curtail free speech, and Jamaica is a democracy where free speech, the Charter of Rights include the right to speak your mind. Hate speech is a different thing altogether. Even in America, Canada, Europe, because they like to compare themselves to America and Canada and Europe and all of that. Some hate speech is allowed. Some hate speech is allowed because people can call people the N-word. And it is, if you go on X right now, a lot of people still using the N-word. A lot of people are using hate speech, but it is curtailed in depending on the context that it is being used. You cannot do anti-Semitism is hate speech. So having free speech doesn't give you the right to come out and use defamatory word, language against somebody that would cause you cannot incite violence against the person using your speech. But you are free to say Joe Biden is old, Donald Trump is old. What are they going to do about that? You follow what I'm saying? I don't remember a few years ago when Trump was president, and Kathy Griffin held up a head, a doll head, which looked like the president, and looked like as it depict kind to mimic,
Exactly.
a comedy sketch. She did a comedy sketch trying to mimic whatever, harming the president, and the Secret Service was at her door. That is a different thing altogether. You cannot incite violence against the prime minister or any member of the cabinet or anybody in society for that matter. You cannot incite violence against them. You cannot go on social media and say you must cause harm to that person. That is unacceptable. However, a person can use crass language to describe the prime minister. It's their free speech. You and I might not use that because people. I've been hearing a lot of people coming out and telling him what he is to go and do with his mother and all that. They are free to do so, and I notice they have conveniently forgotten what they did to Portia, Peter Phillips, and PJ. But let's go back to 2016 and 2020 when these same people who now want to clamp down on social media use social media and they use some very crass language to describe their opponents. Where was Andrew then? Where was Dr. Dana Morris Dixon then? Where were all these people now saying, oh no, you cannot use such language to speak to people. We're going to curtail your free speech. You cannot do that. So because people are now speaking, using his old word again, but the thing is, what Andrew has failed to realize is that it is his own words are being used to hold him accountable. So if he has a problem, it is with himself.
Exactly.
So he cannot come out and now, he's coming out and now saying he's going to curtail free speech and he's tracking people. It's funny how Andrew can track people. He says he has the technology to track people. Andrew said that. I'm not making this up. You're not making it up. As Wayne would say, not my word. Exactly. We are not making it. Andrew Horner said he has been tracking people. He tracked somebody. He found them. And he even said that the reason I didn't prosecute them is that they were so young. Andrew Horner said that. Right? Now, he can track people using their right to speak, exercising their freedom of speech. But how many children are missing in Jamaica again? How many of them has he found? What is the crime rate in Jamaica again? Why has he not used that technology to address the crime problem in Jamaica? Why has he not used that technology to find the missing children in Jamaica? Why has he not used that technology to find all the people who killed all those young women in Jamaica and young men? So you see how Andrew's priorities are misplaced. So when Dana comes out and says, oh, we're not tracking on it. Yes, your prime minister said so. And so we have to go on his word because at the end of the day, he's the minister. She's not, because according to the former minister of disinformation, there is no minister. The prime minister is the minister of information, nobody else. So I have to take his word for it. We have to believe what he says. He says he's tracking people and he has the technology to do it. He said that. And then you have people now who are bloggers who have piggybacked on what he said and have actually come out and said the same thing. So who are we? Where is the disinformation? Where are the lies? Who is telling the lie? I mean, come on now.
There you go. But let us get into more serious matter, right, with the next video here, Sister Maria, because this gone beyond the borderline. Right? It relates to the next video that we are going to play. Gone beyond the borderline. And I want people to listen to this. Right? So without any delay, let us play the next clip, get into that. Right? Number 12. Yeah, number 12 there. And let the people listen keenly because it is unbelievable. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that every waking moment will be spent to track them down and to give them what they duly deserve. Trust and believe me. It is happening already.
Listen, them come, them they not on the live now.
You've seen 5 lawsuits already coming from the top. Well, the ones that are coming from social media, you don't see them yet, but they are coming. They are coming because the social media ones are a little bit more difficult to find.
The British are coming. The British.
Yes.
Them bad and have a video of you and them something there, but they're showing their faces, but they're not giving their names and addresses.
But don't worry,
we're waiting on you people.
We are getting it. You trust and believe. We are getting those names. We have some of the names already. And we are getting the additional names and we're verifying. Some of them will find them house already. We'll find the house already. We see them in them house or water plants already. We see them already. It's only a matter of time.
You know, say 99%.
Guess what? Some of them are local in Jamaica and some of them are overseas. And trust and believe, of the 7 that are on my list on social media, 4 have already been identified. 4 from 7 has already been identified. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. For all of them who used to post people picture up and having no argument. Don't
Hello,
worry.
let me tell you something.
Sister Mariam.
Yeah, but okay, so let me ask you something now. You see, I'm trying to understand, I won't even call them back of the class dunce, because sometimes you can stay in the back of the class and you learn something better than some of the people in the front. Them just fully dunce. Because the same medium that they're using and saying they're going to hold people on, that's the medium that they're using, right? Are they even aware the irony is lost on them? And when they were doing this to Portia, putting up all kind of things, people's names and whatever. So what? I want to see where the videos and the tapes and everything of Portia and Peter Phillips coming out and saying, we're going to track you and we're going to find you in your houses. And what can they do? Nothing, you son of a gun. Nothing. You can do nothing to anybody, but you can do it to yourselves. You can do it to yourselves, because I'm listening to it and it incenses me, because I'm thinking to myself, people's freedom of speech. And hold on a second, aren't they breaching the Data Privacy Act?
But hold on, Maria, that I'm going to get into. That is what I'm going to get into. So since they are preparing for lawsuit, when we finish with them tonight, because that is what I'm going to get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that sound and that voice,
of
right?
course,
and we identify that person. And let me say, I just want for you to finish speak, and then I get on and speak, because I am going to, and guess what? Here is my face, right? I speak out against the corruption of the government every time I come on here. So then, let me say this to Chopper John, because what you said here, let me tell you this. This is a breach, serious breach, Chopper John.
Yes.
So if you are listening to me, Chopper John, let me tell you this. Number one, this clip that you have, one of the first things that we are preparing to do is send this to the RCMP here. And when we send it to the RCMP, we're going to make sure the Minister of National Security in Jamaica get one. And so then, there are going to be communications, right? And let me tell you something. What you said here, Chopper John, that you find them house. This is what you said. It comes out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
No one else's mouth. You, Chopper John, said you find them house. We see them a water plants. Now,
big breach of privacy.
This is extremely serious.
Yeah.
You find them house, Chopper John, and you see them watering plants. Now, I want to ask Chopper John something, right? Anyone who listen to me, tell him to tune in. Who gives him the authority? Who gives him the authority to track down people, find
the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister.
Give him the authority to do that.
The Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
No, this is extremely serious in terms of what.
Mm-hmm.
And we are right now. Let me say this to him. We are taking this to the extreme level. To the extreme level. And so then anything that happened to any vlogger,
it's on them.
That is going to oppose the government. Let us warn you right now. It is going to be on Chopper John shoulder and extensionally the Jamaica Labour Party. We are telling you that. We are going to have this, right? And we are going to send it to the relevant authorities, both outside Jamaica and inside. Both outside Jamaica and inside Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to investigate to the highest level, Chopper John, based on what you have done here. You track people to their homes, and nobody say it, you know. Chopper John, and nobody say it, you know. You say it out of your mouth. Right? That you track people to their home and to show you that this man does not have an inch of sense. You say something like this over social media. You came out and said something like this over social media to show you that how dunce you are.
No, he has the backing of the Prime Minister and the government, Byron. That's what he's saying. But that's basically what he's saying, you know, because the Prime Minister said it, and you notice how he says it. He said it with his full chest, 10 toes down, you know, that he has 7 people and he already found 4, and he saw them in there. You hear, and Jamaica is a high crime society. So can you imagine how people, no, so they want to drive fear into people as if the country isn't, you know, gripped in fear enough already.
But here they believe that we are going to utilize the Jamaica corrupted system. We are not going to use the Jamaican corrupted system as it relates to what you have said here. What you have said, what you have said will be sent to relevant authority outside Jamaica. Right? Trust me. Chopper John, this what you said here, right, is going to go through many reports, right? We are on this and you have our attention. So anyone who would listen to you, Chopper John, listen to us, can go and tell Chopper John this, right? Because guess what? You have Mystic Sensation attention, right? And we are going to tell you that anything, right, happen to any vlogger that's speaking out as it relates to good governance in Jamaica, and you and your minions don't like it, right? Any threat, any violence that meet out to them, Chopper John, you Chopper John, will be held accountable, and in extension, the Jamaica Labour Party. So we are telling you now, we are telling you now, you see what you said here, Chopper John, you are going to get the end result of that, and that is what I am saying, and I am leaving that with you, Chopper John. You are going to get the end result of this.
So let me ask you a question. He is saying that
authorities and let them have it, so that is evidence, one solid evidence. You claim that you track the people to their homes.
Yeah.
You saw them in their homes watering plants. You said that. What authority do you have? You are not a police officer, right? You have nothing to do with security work, right?
Surveillance. Why is he surveilling them?
Right? You're not part of a surveillance team. And you spoke this on social media. You can't put it back in. You cannot pull it back. Right? So we are telling you, and we are telling you what we are going to do, right? Because this is a very, very serious threat, right? And we have this against you. So, farewell. And let me tell you this, you continue prepare what you are preparing, right? You continue preparing what we are preparing, and we are going to prepare what we need to prepare. Me, I tell you that, Chopper John.
What Mystic? They're talking about posting of a video with him on thing there. Now, post that, anyone seeing that video, and every person that have seen that video have been asking the question, is he qualified to be in that position? Because that is a construction site for a hospital. Okay?
Yes.
Now, when we're talking about these construction sites, there are certain rules and regulations that goes beyond the hard hat and PPEs that apply. Yes. No, this is a construction site. Now, if it is true that he is the project manager for that site, we are asking the question, and rightly so. Why is he the project manager? Is he qualified to be the project manager?
Exactly.
What are his skill sets for that particular job, because he needs to, a project manager needs to be able to understand the diagrams, right? Understand budgeting. A number of things have to be in place. Contractors, who are the contractors for plumbing? Who is the contractor for electrical? What about when you have environmental issues?
Have to be able to read the blueprint properly.
You have to read blueprint. So is he a civil engineer, a structural engineer, or is he an architect? So asking legitimate questions of the government about a project that is bleeding money, hemorrhaging money like it is real cobra come over.
Yes.
And you're going to come out and say full-faced that people, have your picture up on social media, what they're going to, you can't do a damn thing about it.
Exactly.
So buckle up, buttercup, because guess what? People are going to still talk about it. And my question to the Prime Minister, who says that he tells his social media people not to come out with lies and when they go low, we must go. No, when they go low, we are going to take them to the earth's crust, because what they're doing is wrong. And if the government is stepping out of line, the government is stepping out of line, there's so many misappropriations of funds. The hospitals are broken, schools are broken, police stations, fire stations, road infrastructure is poor. And we're coming out and saying, okay, how best can you spend the limited resources that are there? Because it's not being spent. And we can use what is happening with the KSA-MC to show that when you spend taxpayers' money on taxpayers, things get done, no matter how small, things get done.
Exactly.
And so for him to come out and be upset that his face is out there, no, you put yourself out there. So we have to, because then the question is, Mystic, why then is the project bleeding so much money? I remember now on Sunday's town hall, I asked the minister about it, and he said, UDC is the project manager. Anybody can go back and watch Wayne's town hall on this past Sunday. And he said, UDC is the project manager. No, I have no problem with UDC, which is the Urban Development Corporation. That is the scope, everything that falls within the scope of what they do. However, is this particular individual certified to, is he employed to UDC? Is he certified for those roles? And if not, is this payment for the job he did as a social media person 2020, especially 2020? Because his name was called in Parliament,
Yes.
Right. So we're asking the questions, Mystic. We're asking the questions, and rightly so.
Exactly. What level of experience he has?
What qualifies him to be in that position, Mystic? That's what we're asking. So what he should have done, since he's so big and bad and his back broad like sharpshooter, what he should have done is come out and said, you know something? I am qualified to be there. This is my qualifications. List how long he has been an architect, how long he has been a civil or structural engineer. List how many projects he has worked on before. Because given the fact that, and as a matter of fact, the minister said that it's the Chinese who have the contract. That's what the minister said.
Yeah.
So the Chinese have the contract. No, and the Chinese chose their project manager. So that is a little, perplexing to me, because that makes no sense. That makes no sense, because a project like that should be within the purview of the government. No matter how many foreigners you have on that project, it should be majority locals. So we are asking the question. So he should come out and show everybody who is questioning what his right to be there. Show them that, listen, see my BA and my MA in structural and civil engineering. See my BA and my MA in architecture. What are you talking about? And then everybody would have said, okay, then you have a right to be there. But given how it is bleeding money, we have to ask, are the right people in those positions?
And the next thing that is very much important, Maria, is when the opposition leader asked him what is the labor force ratio on the site as it relates to Chinese versus black. And the that he quoted, he said it should be 50-50, but at current, it is 70-30, right? And so then if he's making reference to say 70 for the Chinese and 30 blacks, now there's an obvious problem there. There's an obvious problem there because, again, in China, there is no way, right, that
absolutely
can happen.
none.
There is no way that can happen in China.
None.
Here you have outsiders, right, gone into China, and you have 70% of outsiders working and only 30% of Jamaican working. So that, again, doesn't really make sense. A lot of serious issues that relate to this government and how they treat our Jamaican people, pushing them back, as treating them as second-class citizens. Because right here in Jamaica, you are telling me that it is 70% Chinese working and 30% Jamaican as it relates to the radio. That shouldn't have been. That is crazy. You shouldn't even have 30% Chinese there.
But, you know, like I said to the minister, you know, would like to get a RFP and a RFI, you know, request for information, request for proposal to see who got the contract. Like he said, the Chinese got the contract. Yes. Okay, from start to now, give a cost breakdown of that contract. So we have the, and do you think the Jamaican people are entitled to know how the money is being spent for Cornwall Regional, Western Regional Children's Hospital and Cornwall Regional Hospital? So there's, and the thing is, of the 70%, he said 70-30, but of the 70% that are Chinese, what percentage, okay, let's go with 30, what percentage of the 30 are in, outside of himself, are in the leadership position?
Exactly.
In term, right, you know, who is the architect, who is the structural engineer, who is the civil engineer? When you come to the environmental part of it, because you know, when you're the earth has so many minerals and gases, and the further down you dig, all kinds of you'll come upon all kinds of gases and stuff that you have to you need an environmental person there. How is it disposed of? Because remember now, you know, was it last year or the year before, there was an issue that was mold was found in the operating theater.
Yes.
Right? And in a new structure, not an old structure. So how can that be when you're putting up a new structure where you know, it appears to me that the checks and balances are not working as they should. So when people are asking the questions, people have a right to ask the questions because they see you there. You're bigged up in Parliament as one of their social media warriors, and here you are in this major multi-billion-dollar project. It's only qualified people are supposed to be in that position.
Exactly. And this is where you talk about the nepotism, the cronism, and the skullduggery, because Eli Clark stood in Parliament and brags about him, right?
Exactly.
Social media warrior. And so then this man who is a social media warrior now found himself on a site, right? That he is the project manager. Remember, from social media warrior, right, from the blogger, you understand, blogging in the defense of Jamaica Labour Party, whether them right or wrong, right, defending Jamaica Labour Party, right? No, this man is fully green from his head to his toe. Now reach site, right, being the project manager. You tell me, people. And then, the thing about this, as I can't do what Tufton said, because I'm getting down to the Tufton thing, you know. He said that it is the Chinese who finance this project. So we want people to, so I'm going to ask some questions because certain question I didn't get to ask him, right? Because I only asked him maybe just one or two questions, right? So then I am going to speak some things now. Now, I want to know as it relates to the Chinese who finance this project. What are the Chinese getting in order to finance this project? What are we giving away to the Chinese?
But before you go there, Byron, we always hear about anything from China is not good.
Well, oh,
So the construction of this hospital, because I know I heard a story about UWI. They did some work up at UWI and the government had to go behind them to correct it because it wasn't properly done.
like
Isn't it the Chinese that, remember the Chinese also built the foreign ministry and there's no sewage down there. So now this is a hospital, you know. So you see, that's why I'm asking if it's a 70-30, how do we know that they're getting the best value for money? How do we know that the construction is being done the way it should be done? You know, because I'm not a construction person. I cannot tell you anything about construction.
Yes.
But I do know that it just cannot be done willy-nilly. And every step of the way, you have to do tests and assessments, and you have to do like when you buy a house and you have inspections. So you have to do inspections every step of the way. So are these things being done? Who is responsible for doing it? Or, you know, are people just getting paid under the table to just look the other way and just letting the thing go through? People's lives are at risk here. The lives of Jamaican people are at risk. This is not something to play with. And now, with every time the money goes up, the goalpost is shifted. So it's now gone to 2027 before it is completed. We're not sure, and maybe in a few months you're gonna hear, oh, it's gonna cost more money. The medical, somebody just text message, the medical school at UWI was fixed by the Chinese and the Jamaica. It wasn't properly done, and the Jamaican government had to go and correct it. Yes, so you know, we have to find out these things and hope that the goalpost is not going to be shifted from 2027 to maybe 2029. And every time the goalpost is shifted, it costs more money. And there's no investigation to ask the question, why is it costing so much money? Why have you gone so way over? Because they're way over budget, you know.
Yes. Sister Maria, I want to say something. One of the questions that I wanted to ask Christopher Tufton was for Christopher Tufton to tell me at current how much money spent on Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Exactly.
I wanted him to tell me that. I didn't get to ask him the question because where I want to go, if he said that, okay, $5 million spent on Cornwall Regional Hospital, I wanted was to go onto the portal, onto the JAMP portal, bring up the JAMP portal, right, and look into it, because in the portal, it can tell you how much, right, money actually spent. And I want, you understand, to right then and there show the public as it relates to what he's saying and what the JAMP portal is saying. Sister Maria, what is also important is that when I went on the JAMP portal, right, I get to discover something that the JAMP portal is not being updated from what? The
last update was 2022, but the last figures that you have entered is 2020.
Right?
Nothing beyond 2020.
So then I wanted was to bring it up to show people. So what this government is hiding? The JAMP portal, right, as it relates to what contract being given out, right, the amount being paid out for the contract, you could see it on the JAMP portal. But from the last time I went on the JAMP portal, right, and I revealed some things on the JAMP portal, it seems like, right, they are not updating the JAMP portal. So let me talk, you know, so for the persons who are running the JAMP portal, right, remember now, Mystic Sensation is saying that I visited the JAMP portal and I am not seeing any current update. So I am asking you people that we need the update on the JAMP portal. We want to see what the government is doing. Right? Carrie, the Children Adolescent Hospital is different from the Cornwall Regional Hospital upgrade. Yes, we need to make that.
Yeah, Western Regional Children's Hospital is different. Yes.
Yes, the Western, because where Chopper John was the Western Regional Children's Hospital. right? Not the Cornwall Regional Hospital. So,
But Mystic, whether it is a Western Regional or Beryllium Regional,
yes,
is he qualified to be there? You know,
either
that's what, you know, is he qualified to be there? That's all we're asking. And
Yes,
if he is, all he has to do to prove us wrong, he said, you know,
and here Gary is confirmed what we are saying.
the Chinese government is doing that one. Yes,
Give
yes.
us the money to build the children adolescent hostel, and that is just what, and that is what I said, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
we have someone confirming in terms of what we are
Exactly, exactly. See, we have bright people in the chat, man.
Yes, what I'm also saying, Gary, I am saying that they need to update the JAMP portal so we can see, right, who get the contracts and how much being paid out. That means a tough time can just come and say something, and we can't
exactly.
We need to be able, right, to fact check, right, because we want to have an understanding, all right, because we have been hearing about that the Cornwall Regional Hospital start a little bit before, below $2 billion.
Yes.
Now what we have heard, that now it reaches something like $21 billion.
21, yes.
The next thing that we are hearing from Tufton that okay, it is not $21 billion spent, right? It's $21 billion projected over a particular period of time. Okay, if that is the case, and that 21 billion projected over a period of time, Mystic Sensation is asking you, Mr. Tufton, how much have you spent, right? What is the total spent as we speak?
Mm-hmm.
And we need, because that's supposed to be recorded through the JAMP portal.
Right.
There's an area there that you can look and see the contractors, providing that you know the contractor's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see also the money that paid out. So we should be able, right, to access the JAMP portal and fact check what the government is saying. Now that the government realized that now we have accessibility to the JAMP portal, why the information into the JAMP portal is not being updated? That is the question that Mystic Sensation is asking. Why it has not been updated? So that we can, yes.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Mystic, because it leads me now to do a follow-up question to say, okay, so if the JAMP portal was updated, we would have been able to see all this information about the project.
Yes,
and would have known now how he got his job, his qualifications for the job, and his salary for the job. Because normally in a functioning democracy, this is there for everybody to see because it's public information. It must be there for the public to see.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to ask Wifey right now to just go on the JAMP portal. We just want people to see it and show people how to access these information. So we're going to put up the JAMP portal, right? And show people what they can do in terms of that. So just bear with us, people, because we want people to learn to, we want people to know. So when the government come out and say, well, all right, X amount of billion spent, we need to know the contractors and we need to see the total payout.
We need to make sure the people who have these jobs are qualified for these positions, so that taxpayers' money don't keep just going, disappearing like into thin air. That's what has been happening, and they don't want anybody to question that. If he's qualified to be there, no problem.
Watch here. Share to the people. Share to the people, and the people see. We just access it, and here what the side say. We go share it to the people, and the people say, you understand? It seems like, look, people, see that? People see it there. So I'm not telling any line. Mystic Sensation is not telling any line. JAMP maintenance, right? We are currently.
Wow.
People see it.
But do you have it? But do you have the screenshot of today? Because I have it. Well, I'm using the system that it is on.
I can get it off yours and.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that what you went on it today.
We apologize for any inconvenience or technical advice that the site should be available by 6 a.m. Please visit again. Okay. All right.
It's Beryl. Beryl was being very rude.
Okay. Right. So yeah, they understand where we are going. You know? They understand where we are going. Right? Because we are not stupid around here. When Tufton, I want, and this is one of the reasons why, right, I did not get the time, right, to ask Tufton these questions, but might be in the future again, right? He will come around. You understand?
Well, I hope he comes on your show. You know, you can invite him on the show, and I hope he comes on here Tuesday, Friday night. You know,
I would love to have you about Mr. Tufton. Right.
Yeah, we'd love to have him have a conversation about the issues relating to Western Regional as well as Cornwall Regional.
All right. Now, let us visit, right, the opposition leader full speech at Mount Salem Divisional Conference. Right. Let us tune in a bit and hear what the opposition is saying there. All right.
Which one?
Not in full speech.
Okay.
Let us just visit the opposition leader in Mount Salem there.
I'm the chairman of the meeting. Comrade Kerry Thomas, Councillor. Your conference, speak up yourself. I want to tell you, Kerry Thomas is not an easy man. He's not an ordinary man. But if I do his thing, you make sure you do it's done how he wants it to be done. Normally, when I'm coming to a divisional conference, I left out from my yard. I go go on Google Maps and see how long it will take to reach. And then what time I like to reach. And we subtract the time and know that I'm going to leave my yard at X hour. With Kerry Thomas, I believe at least 24 hours earlier than that. We're talking with a series of events. Yeah, man. Respect you, sir. Dr. Hartley. Comrade Andre Hartley. What a speech the man just gave. What a speech. Son of the soil, son of Mount Salem, son of West Central St. James. And you know, Andre, otherwise Star Sheets, Rachel, man, because you come into this thing, you go through the 2020 experience. And then this is say you just redouble your efforts. And you step up to a higher level. And you not give up the thing. And you know, the next time I feel. Next time will be your time. Yeah, man. Confidence in that. And people, comrades, I need him. I need him in God knows. I need him in our team. Comrades, when I look at what I have up here representing the People's National Party, I feel good. As a leader, I'm just a vessel, you know. But my role is to make sure we can get the team that we need and the talent that we can move forward and take Jamaica to a higher level. Our Senator Janice Allen. Step up into representation and politics and take on Central State James. She has the pedigree. She's a Samson. And I'm very confident she's going to shake up the team.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh! Come on! Oh my god!
Warriors in the camp. Comrade Audit and big up yourself, sir. Big up yourself. Yeah, man. Comrade Reed Nat. Rachel. She's quiet. She's demure. But she's powerful. She's powerful. And I was at her conference last Saturday. And we were celebrating the life of Violent Music, the first female speaker of the House of Representatives in Jamaica, and who won the seat of East Central St. James 3 times, and then 3 terms, and then came out of it. And since then, we haven't had it. We came close in 2011. Rochelle, you know, said, as you have said, great things can happen. And I'm looking to you to deliver, because just like Violent Nielsen did it, another female is going to do it. Needs Central. The future. Comrade Nikisha Burchell. She's just the epitome of power. Yeah, man. And she's full of vibes. And she's a astute political mind. And she's full of enthusiasm and energy. And South St. James, we know say PNP powerful in South St. James. And I have every confidence we're going to take it back from there. And when I look over here now, the real Rasta man. It feels good.
All right. All right, let us stop it there. Right, just want to give some insight. Sister Maria, how are you feeling? All right, let us.
Good, man, good.
Right, I want to clarify something to the panel and all the persons who tune in just now, right, as it relates to a question that was asked of Mr. Tufton. So I am going to play that clip, right, as it relates to the question that I asked. And Tufton claimed that, you know, that data, as according to him, is false. And I have done a further research, right, and also backed up the question that I asked him, and to show, I'm going to show, you know, the listeners, the lookers, right, that what I asked him, right, and what Tufton said, right, he was just blatantly lying. So let us get back to the video and hear the question that I asked Mr. Tufton.
Okay.
Yes. On an average year, we see 3 million cases. 1.4 million go to hospital, 1.6 million go to health centers. We have 200,000 Jamaicans who are admitted for 5 days or less in a hospital. Our complaints are less than 1%. Most people go home and are better off than how they came.
Dr. Tufton, I want to say, you know, it's it's wonderful that you make it on the program, right? We appreciate that. Now, I want to ask, as it relates to something that you spoke earlier in your starting, right? You quoted a statistics as it relates to record of all the persons receive patient care within the healthcare system. Only 1% of such persons, right, complain about the system. I'm going to ask you again, where did you get that statistics?
All right, sure, not a problem. So And by the way, it's not persons, it's visits. Because remember that
visits.
One
Okay.
person may visit multiple times, right? You have some
Okay.
people go to clinic every month. We have a grievance procedure in the ministry where anyone who has a concern or a complaint can lodge that concern or complaint.
Okay.
And I get a report on average every quarter of where those complaints are from, meaning institutions, what the nature of the complaint is, what kind of investigations are being done to address the concerns, and I could go on and on. So there is actually a unit that does that. Now, I do agree with Daisy. Not everybody will have a complain through the process. We go based on the data that have been, the complaints that have been lodged. But I can say that some of those have not been lodged either. So it could be more.
Okay. All right. So what I want to show you, and I'm going to ask Mr. Lonesome to put it on the screen, right? Because what you said as it relates to that 1%, what we are looking at on a 2023 data, we are talking about 52.2%.
That's rubbish. I can tell you straight up, is absolutely
Hold on, Mr. Tufta.
More than half of the patients complain. That's foolish.
Hold on, Mr.
Anyway, let me see.
Just we want some put up that.
But this one we just send me, yeah?
Public health crisis.
Where you get that from, by the way? Tell me the source.
You're going to see it. You're going to see it, and you're going to read it.
Yeah.
So we could just put it up here. Hold on.
So break that down for us and tell us what that means.
I'm not seeing it yet.
Hold on. I'm going to put it up now. Can you see it?
Yes.
Read it out, Ivan.
Increase the funds.
The fund to 200.
Go. 223. Go now.
Okay, so let me read it.
Yeah, read it.
And as it relates to the subtopic,
yes,
access to quality healthcare in Jamaica. Right? Let me read it. Public health crisis. Jamaica's iconic reggae and beaches backdrop, right? A public health crisis, the legacy of colonial slave based on economy, birth, the traumatic post-emancipation public health care system present in Jamaica today. Healthcare is a dimension of poverty on the island. The multidisciplinary poverty index, MPI of 2022, estimated that 78,000 Jamaicans live in multidimensional poverty in 2020. The index splits poverty in 3 dimensions: health, education, and standard of living, and scales the intensity of deprivations for each, compared to selected other Caribbean and Latin countries at that time. Healthcare deprivation. This is what is important, Mr. Tufton. Healthcare deprivation was greatest in Jamaica at 52.2%.
Who is that coming from?
Well, this is coming from BurgeonProject.org, and it is an original organization. It's an official organization. This is not a .com.
With due respect, I could probably find a source.
Okay. Let us stop it right there. I am going to bring up the document, and you know what I did? I went further than that, Sister Maria.
Right.
I went and I also get the Jamaica account of things. So if you're bashing that information, now tonight, I have also the Jamaican account of things. So let us put up the document, right, and read it now where people can now see the document, and I'm going to bring the Jamaica side of it to show that Dr. Tufton was indeed lying. Let us show it. All right, now that the people can see this, all right, I'm glad that the people can see this tonight, right? Now, a public health crisis, Jamaica iconic reggae and beaches backdrop, a public health crisis, the legacy of the colonial slave-based economy, birthed a traumatic post-emancipation public health care system present in Jamaica today. Healthcare is a dimension of poverty on the island. The Multidisciplinary Poverty Index, MPI, of 2022 estimated that 78,000 Jamaicans live in multidimensional poverty in 2020. The index split poverty in 3 dimensions: health, education, and standard of living, and scales the intensity of deprivations for each compared to selected other Caribbean and Latin American countries at the time. Healthcare deprivation was greatest in Jamaica at 52.2%. The next highest was Trinidad and Tobago at 45.5%. Take that away on it. Now, and this was last year.
June 2023.
June, see there, people, June 24, 2023. Now, people, let us get back now the Jamaican side of things to show Mr. Tufton, right, what we are talking about. So it is not only from outside forces who came in and investigate, right, also from the Jamaica side of things. No wonder why they want to stop from speak over social media. This is the reason why they want us to stop from speak. So, without any delay, bring up the Jamaica document. Let us read the Jamaican document from the Gleaner. Right? Let us get into the Jamaican document. This is from the Gleaner now this time, Mr. Tufton. Right? Treated like animals, Jamaican decry healthcare workers in new survey. Now let us look at this. Fed up with the poor treatment experience at public hospitals, Jamaicans continue to give the country's public healthcare system a failing grade. Reveal a recently conducted survey of the health sector, and this is coming back way from 2016 up until this time. So people look, 2016, listen up. See, Sunday, November 13, 2016. From so Tufton cannot say this is measuring from 2016 come upwards. All right. Now, health workers' rude attitude and lack of care and compassion, especially for the poor, terrible service and treatment, and the extremely long wait times to get through were the main things that irked persons who sought medical attention in the public sector. In the Gleaner Commission study conducted by Johnson Survey Research Limited. So, Mr. Tufton, let me say, see it here? The Gleaner Commission study conducted by Johnson Survey Research Limited study. 44% of the participants ranked the healthcare system as not so good. 44% compared to the minuscule 4% who rated it as one of the best. So when you talk about your 1%, only 1% rated it, you are definitely lying, right? So let us read it again. In the Gleaner Commission study conducted by Johnson Survey Research Limited, 44% of the participants ranked the healthcare system as not so good, compared to the minuscule 4% who rated it as one of the best in response to being asked how would they rate the care system in Jamaica. Asked why they felt the way, 39% said the wait time was too long and the service too slow, and 22% said healthcare workers didn't care, were rude and offered poor service. In fact, 20% of the respondents went as far as to say healthcare workers treat you like animals. Take it away. So, Sister Mary.
Yeah, so his 1% is not working. So does he even read his own paper? Because the Gleaner isn't lying. So and this is what I don't like with the disingenuous, behavior of these politicians. Is that they're saying, don't believe your lying eyes. And while I can understand we all have compassion for the people who come out and speak out, we have to also appreciate the fact that not many of these cases are being reported. So of the reported, he's basing what he says on the reported cases. But a lot of people just cannot be bothered because the process is too arduous, and they just they can't take the government anymore. They cannot deal with the government anymore, and they cannot deal with the healthcare system that is failing them.
Right. And
so he cannot say that it was 1%. And another thing about the medication, he said they wrote more prescriptions.
Yes.
I think it was what, 3 million? Forget how many what his numbers were, but it's a big number government did. But here's the problem with that: the medication that they're writing, the people don't want it because it's not of any use to them. It's generic. It's not the name brand. So they're getting it's as if they're getting a less quality of the generic. So they don't want it. So it's all well and good you're writing more prescriptions, but is it working? And we have to ask the question: how are these pharmaceuticals supplied? Who is responsible for those pharmaceuticals? Who gets the contract for that? So those are a number of things that he has not taken into consideration, but are also must factor into what he says, because though they write more prescriptions, Mystic Sensation, it's of no use to the people. The people don't want it. So it's a waste.
Exactly.
But a lot of the times I get the prescription and the medication isn't even available, so it's only paper.
Exactly. So they're only writing what they're writing.
Well,
before you go to the next thing, I just want to bring up the JAMP. I took it off Maria's thing that you sent.
Okay.
So
there you go.
JAMP page. So the last update, we can't even see to where it said last update. It was 2022 over here. But the last information input, and this is under Ministry of Health, was up to September 2020, and there's nothing else after 2020. So I guess they may be hurrying up to put up something now. But
and you see why these things are important. You have to screenshot these things to prove to them that what we're saying is a fact. Because now they will come and say it's fake news and disinformation when there it is. This was today, earlier today.
Right? So we want people to understand what is going on, right, as it relates to this government, right? Now, the JAMP portal, right, is there for every Jamaican to access that. So when Christopher Tufton run out and said, okay, he spent, that's why I want to pin him down, to ask him how much money can you say to us spent on Cornwall Regional Hospital? You tell me a total. You tell me a total. Because I am going to go into the JAMP portal, right, and see, right, the actual amount that's spent. And if there is anything as it relates to variances, he would have to explain the variances.
Exactly.
He would have to explain the variances. And these are the situations that we talk about that, yes, we have people here, you understand, who can go on the JAMP portal, right, and dig into the information, right? Providing that we know the contractors and so forth and so forth. We can see which contractor get what, right, and what amount of money paid out to all those contractors.
Exactly.
Right? And all of them will be listed under the Ministry of Health. You understand? So there's nothing can hide, can be hidden there. Right? And so then this is how, right, you catch them in their life. When they come, because if you're coming on social media, you're on to do your interview, you have to make sure you prepare. Right? Prepare when we are here. Make sure you prepare. Right, Megawatt, this administration playing catch up. The bloggers of them running around trying to cover their asses. Yes, I don't know if it might be currently that is what they are doing with the JAMP portal, right? It currently right currently under maintenance.
Yeah, but you see, Mystic. Had you not screenshot that and sent it to me, you know, they could say, "Oh no, it's fake news." You see, we're in maintenance. No, you weren't early today.
Exactly.
So, and it wasn't updated from what 2020. So this is 2024, which is 4 years now, and so many things have taken place since then. Why is it not updated on a regular basis to keep the Jamaican people informed?
Right.
That is all we're asking.
Yeah. So gone are the days when politicians could do certain things and get away with it. We are in an era that is going to deals with checks and balance, right? And they have to give an account. And so then that's why we know that as it relates to the statutory declaration, that is the next mess. Now, let us dig. I want to play Mark Golden as it relates to Mark Golden renounce his British citizenship and wish now flatline the Jamaica Labour Party narrative. Now they don't have nothing to go on, right? So we hear Darrell Val still a grumble. It's a little bit too late. A little bit too late. Okay, we are going to get into that video where Mark Golden renounced his citizenship, and we are going to speak on that. All right. He has done nothing wrong. He has not broken any constitutional laws, right?
No.
And so then, I mean, at the end of the day, right, he decided that he weighed the situation, and of course, right, he did what he did, and of course we are going to support him. We are going to support him, right? So let us play the clip as it relates to Mark.
So my situation is one where I've always regarded my status as being normal and not something that I should be concerned about. However, when the issue came out in the public domain, I did say that while my own view of the matter of dual citizenship is that we should be expanding rather than narrowing the scope of who can participate in our political process, even at the highest level, given the diaspora that we have as a reality, the Jamaican family being international, and we being so dependent on our Jamaican family for the sustenance and support of our economy and our society here. And we discussed some of those issues a while ago in the discussion on economic transformation. I also said that I had to be mindful of where the Jamaican people felt about this, and if it became apparent that the view was that leaders in the parliament, or members of parliament, senators, or persons of holding high office should be exclusively Jamaican citizens, I would take that into account. And comrades, we have reached a point now where we have some data on the views of the public on this matter. And while I've expressed my own view is on the way we ought to be going as a country in relation to this issue, I do not want my status to be something which could hold the party back, impact the party negatively, or any of our candidates who are on the road to victory in difficult seats which we're looking to win, to have any kind of disadvantage because of my status. So as a result of that, I have decided to take that issue off the table by renouncing my British
citizenship. Sister Maria, let me speak on it a bit, and then I have you coming in. So, this goes to show you as it relates to Mark Golding as a leadership. And what I got from that is that demonstration of a democratic leader. A democratic leader in the sense that he listened to all the voices and weighed in as it relates to, okay, he's going to appease, right, as it relates to, the masses who may want, right, for him to renounce, right? And he renounced. Now I am going to speak in comparison to Andrew Holness, where his statutory declaration not being certified from 2021, and he's still hell-bent in hanging on, and they don't see nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
They don't see nothing wrong with that. And you know what? You don't hear mainstream media is making that comparison. Where can you get this comparison? On social media. On social media.
But in the same light, the amount of persons that's in his ministry with dual citizenship as well. So it's just
exactly.
And they live in glass house and them not stop fling stone.
Okay.
Exactly.
Maria?
This is a non-issue argument for me.
Exactly.
Because Andrew Holness and his minions, as my brother Wayne would like to call them.
Yes.
Have a way. As a matter of fact, they support people who violate the Constitution. But if you do what you're supposed to do within the confines of the Constitution, then they have a problem with you. Because Mark Gold, and the thing is, the reason why we have not had conversations about Babsy Grange, Matthew Samud and Finson, because we know that they, having a Commonwealth citizenship outside of Jamaica, is nothing wrong. The Constitution allows for it. So that's why we did not take up and have a conversation about that. But since they opened the Pandora's box and they opened the door, we're going to walk right in and we're going to take them to the earth's crust with this one. Because Mark Golding has every right to sit in the parliament. Remember now, they do not vote for a prime minister. So even Matthew Samuda, who was born in London, has a British passport, can become prime minister. Nobody can stop it. Babsy Grange, with a Canadian citizenship, can become prime minister because the Constitution of the country allows for it. And another thing we must understand, there's not a new constitution in Jamaica because they're behaving as though they're operating on a new constitution. No, there is not. And the Jamaican people, those of you who can read, please read it and edify your community about what is in the current constitution. Know what it is that you're giving up before you allow them to take it. Because what they're doing with this constitutional reform is taking your rights away for generations. You are going to lose your rights, and your children and children's children are going to lose their rights, and you cannot hold the government accountable in any way, shape, or form. That's one. When Darrell makes the argument that yes, it's not a legal issue, it's in the Constitution, it's a moral one. Please, for the love of God, Darrell Vaz is not in any position whatsoever to talk to anybody on planet Earth, born and yet to be, about morality. This man has no moral compass.
Oh my God.
None whatsoever. So when he's coming to talk about, now, if I was interviewing him and he brought up this morality issue, I would say, first of all, the Constitution trumps your morality, but you lack morality. You have no moral. What moral ground does Darrell Vaz stand on to be talking to anybody about a moral issue? He has none. As recently as the election, at 9 o'clock, he had 2 clusters of people waiting to vote when election polling closed at 5 o'clock. Now, this is a small country. What does he have 2 clusters of people waiting to vote? And it was allowed to get away with it instead of the electoral office saying null and void. Null and void. That's what should have happened in that case. Okay. Just recently, what did he do? He violated Mark Golding's privacy. His right to privacy. And there are more things that we can talk about, but I'm just giving those 2 issues because it affects people on the national scale.
Yes.
But you look at his visa situation.
Yes.
The waiver on it basically is a drug dealer.
Yes.
You're like, hello. You're in no position to talk. So I don't want to hear the morality argument from Darrell Vaz. And now him coming to say, too little, too late. Question here. Should a prime minister whose statutory declarations are yet to be certified 3 years running be allowed to continue leading the country? Should that person, and that is the poll I would like for them to do in the Jamaican space right now. Ask the Jamaican people whether or not they would support a prime minister who nobody can prove how he has acquired his wealth. So break it down for them. So his statutory declarations are yet to be certified because what he has and the money he makes don't align.
Exactly.
Would you want that person to still be your representative?
Maria, let me say this. This is something that we need to push on. We should really ask for a data like
poll, a Don Anderson poll. Yes.
Something. None of them will ever do it.
I would love, I'd love to see Blue Dot, what's his name? Cliff Hughes, Blue Dot poll. Cliff Hughes, I would love, if you have the cojones, I would love to see you do a poll and ask the Jamaican people this question. Should a prime minister whose statutory declarations have not been certified 3 years running, have not signed the code of conduct, have 6 people sitting in this parliament who are under investigation for illicit enrichment, should that person be considered a leader of the party, be allowed to sit in the parliament, and also be allowed to continue as prime minister? Not him to be not him to be voted again for, to continue. That is the question that needs to be asked of the Jamaican people. And I'm 100% sure the majority would say, no, he's not qualified. And yet this man who, with the Constitution say he's right to be in the parliament, they are having a furor over something that is constitutional. So it tells you that they are not qualified to be doing anything with trying to reform the Constitution. They're not qualified for that. And another thing, NIDS, please, young people, Jamaicans, do not take NIDS. Leave NIDS alone. Because if he can violate Mark Golding's privacy rights and he says they're tracking you, you do not need to put any information out there about yourself. Nothing more than they don't need to scan your eyes. They don't need your fingerprint. They need nothing more. You have a TRN number. What they should be doing is a non-driver license ID. That's all. Just do a non-driver. So you show up with your birth certificate. You show up with your you only need to fill out the application form, show up with the birth certificate, and you get a non-driver ID. That's all. And your TRN number. That's all. But do not take NIDS because the Prime Minister says he's tracking you. It's not fake news. The Prime Minister said so, that he's tracking you. He has the technology to track you. So please do not let them track you. You don't voluntarily give up your information so they can track you even further and ruin your lives.
Okay. Let us just put up Darrell Vaz's statement here after Mark Golding renounced. too little, too late. VARs react to golden citizenship. Can you imagine?
No scruples.
Right? I tell you, the level of audacity with this man, right? With this man, look at him. Look at him. Too little, too late. VARs reacts to golden citizenship. Renunciation, sorry. Announcement. All right. West Portland Member of Parliament, the Jamaica Labour Party, Darrell Vaz, State Opposition Leader Mark Golden announcement that he will be renouncing his British citizenship is too little, too late. Look at that. Vaz also says it's unacceptable that Golden has not given a timetable regarding when he will act on his stated intention to renounce. No, hold on. Maria.
It is too much. He's too much now. No, he's little too enough. No. He's too much. Here's the thing. When is he going to get a timeline from Andrew Holness about when he's going to have his statutory declaration certified? That's what we need to be talking about, not something that is constitutionally allowed. That is not an issue. If it was again, he's talking, this is the thing, Mystic. Darrell Vaz is talking as if we have another constitution. Jamaican people wake up, there's no new constitution. There's none. And the current constitution, which they have violated so many times, says Mark Golding is allowed to sit there. Now, I would like to ask Darrell, when are you going to ask Babs Grange that same question? When is she going to renounce her Canadian citizenship? Since he wants to go down that rabbit hole, we can go down that rabbit hole with him. But we are now going to ask the question, which is a more important question, because you need to know that your leaders have integrity. Andrew Holness said so, that he wants leaders of unquestioned integrity. Andrew Holness' integrity have so many holes in it, it is worse than a sift.
Oh my goodness.
And here we are with a member of his cabinet asking about something that is allowed by the Constitution. Can we have him ask of his leader what is the timeline on Jamaican people getting some answers about the statutory declarations? It's 3 years now. Why has he been allowed to go 3 years without having it certified? In other countries, 1 month and it's not certified, and there would have been an investigation as to why. And if it was found that he has wealth that his salary could not give him, then something would have to be done to either acquire what he has, or have him pay some form of restitution to the taxpayers.
Exactly. But Amara, let us run into some of the other paragraphs, because sweeter meat is here now. So here now. Golden announced his decision to renounce his British citizenship at a meeting of the National Executive Council of the People's National Party on Sunday. Hear this big hypocrite now. In a release to the media shortly after, Vaz said it was a national disgrace that Golden, who aspires to be the head of government of Jamaica, hesitated for approximately 40 days since admitting to his dual citizenship on the issue of whether to choose Jamaican citizenship only. Now, Maria, let me ask you a question. You know what? Take that document away from me, because I don't want to get upset in the house tonight. You understand?
Yeah, the man is full of crap.
How many, as a matter of fact, how many years Andrew Holness gone?
Thank you. Thank you.
Your declaration being certified.
Exactly. That's the question that we need to be asking.
40 days. 40 days. It is not like Mr. Golden broke any law.
He did not. He did not.
Right? And the man who broke the law time and time again. Because let me tell Darrell Vaz. You are talking about Mark Golden. It's a national disgrace because Mark Golden spent 40 days to renounce. No. It is 365 days make a year.
Exactly.
Okay, talk to
exactly.
something wrong with his head.
No, you know what? You know something? He's so corrupt that he knows nothing better than to be corrupt. That's all he knows. That's all he knows. He doesn't know common courtesy. He doesn't know decency. He knows not. He knows not what it means. He doesn't know what it means to be honorable. Because if he was an honorable person, he would be asking of his leader.
Okay.
What's happening with your statutory declaration? And we will be saying to his leader, you cannot lead us because your character is questionable.
But look, Sister Maureen, the Constitution covers Mark as it relates to, right?
Yes, it does.
Being a Commonwealth
citizen, yes.
The Integrity Commission Act stated clearly in its law that failure to file your statutory declaration, you commit an offense.
Dwayne Vaz.
No, Andrew Holness did not fail to file. He filed. Let us get this right. Let us get this right. Andrew Holness filed his statutory declaration. But what is the problem? His statutory declaration cannot be certified.
Exactly.
Now,
why?
If his statutory declaration cannot be certified simply because he lied on his statutory declaration.
Amen.
Now,
church finish.
What the Integrity Commission Act said, if you bear false statement, let me remind you, Darrell Vaz, what the Integrity Commission Act says. If you bear false statement on your statutory declaration, you can be fined. And depending on the gravity of the situation, be imprisoned. This is the Integrity Commission Act, which Andrew Holness had broken time and time and time. You see why you see why they don't want us on social media?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about people telling lies on social media, Mr. Andrew Holness, come out now. You and Dana, both of you know. Tell me, what lie am I telling?
Exactly. Where's the misinformation?
Shopper John, you come and tell me, right? What lie am I telling? Shopper John, your Prime Minister statutory declaration cannot be certified after 3 years. Which part that is lie, Chopper John? Which part that is lie, Andrew? Which part that is lie, Dana? You come out and tell Mystic Sensation, where is he lying? Point out the lies to me. Right? And now Darrell Vaz is talking about Mark Golden took 40 days to renounce.
40 days, 1 day, 1 year. The bottom line is he was not in violation of the Constitution. That is what they need to understand and stop talking as though this man he was not in violation of the Constitution. And therefore, there's no argument there to be made. Yet you have a Prime Minister whose statutory declarations have not been certified, which is in violation of the same Integrity Commission that he signed off on, asked for the training for, got the training, and he turned around and said, no, I ain't signing nothing. The Code of Conduct. Why has he not signed the Code of? It tells you everything you need to know about this man. And we have to go back to when he was opposition leader and violated the Constitution with those undated resignation letters. And Tufton and Williams were casualties of that. They took him to court. You know who took him to court? Delaware Chuck. So when you have Delaware Chuck now, who is supposed to know better, ramrodding the Constitution and just rushing things through to Parliament just for the sake of keeping somebody in, it's not that they don't have qualified people to be the DPP, but to suit themselves. When you have them doing that now, you have to ask a question. How then can these people be trusted to reform a constitution?
Exactly.
And if you look at I'm sure you have read the report. I have read the report. I still have it on my system. And nothing in that report protects the Jamaican people. Absolutely. Not one line, not one letter, not one 50-cent stamp protects the Jamaican people.
Yes.
So they have to understand that when they come to them and talk about reform, tell them, no, we need to know what is in the current constitution first. We need to know what the current Charter of Rights says, because any reform of a constitution should open with the Charter of Rights for the Jamaican people, which is their right to free speech and the right to be protected, to protect themselves from the government, not the government protecting themselves from the people, because the government pressures the people. So there has to be a way for the people to hold them accountable, impeach them, recall them, do whatever they have to do, but that must be in there. So when they're talking, there's only one constitution and they're in violation of the constitution. Mark Golding is not. And do not use the morality argument because they're not qualified.
That is clear. Now let us go to our next video. Right.
You know, Darrell Vaz have a thing with the number 40.
Yes. Crazy.
So yesterday, opposition leader Mark Golding announced that he plans on renouncing his British citizenship. Comrade leader also made it clear that after listening to the concerns of the people of the country and after meeting with party officials and executives, he sees it fit, as it is already predestined for him to become the Prime Minister. He doesn't really want any hiccups when he gets to that place. And ever since that announcement, I see Labour Rights taking it upon themselves to make it look like, say, them are the reason why Comrade leader is planning on renouncing his citizenship and posting about too little, too late. We cannot trust the PNP leader. Labour Rights, I just can't fathom if you don't have a brain and if it works. What is too little, too late and still cannot be presented to the country is the statutory declaration of the Prime Minister. What is too little, too late is that ventilators are still not in hospitals and people are dying because of the absence of proper healthcare equipment. What is too little, too late is that the Ministry of Security is still failing, and even though there's a crime going down, for some reason we still figure out. So Labour Rights, no matter feel like say a phone or hand force Comrade leader to make this decision. Uno give him name market British, and I don't think you realize that we made it the best of ourselves. We use that market British and turn it against you. So there's nothing, and there was nothing that you guys did that influenced this move. Mark Golding plans to become the Prime Minister, which he will be, and none of you can stop him. So nobody get ahead of yourself, and let's see what other stunts you plan to pull off, because time come.
That was an appropriate assessment, right? And I love his assessment. People, big up Umber TV. And right, go over TikTok and endorse him. Right? The man deserves to be endorsed. Where's the Sister Maria?
Agreed 100%. But like he said, time come. And you know, this is what they're trying to play off is nothing. It's really nothing. It's a nothing burger. And you know what is honorable? Is that Mark Golding has chosen country over self.
Country over self. Yes.
That speaks so much volume.
Okay. And
exactly.
Let's show the people now as it relates to what Mark Golding want to do in terms of holding this government accountable. Listen to what Mark Golding is saying. And this is one of the reasons why they are fighting Mark Golding so much. They are doing everything, right, to fight Mark Golding, because they know that Mark Golding is going to discipline them, right? So they are doing everything, right? They are doing everything to make sure that, right, that they keep down Mark Golding, right? They tell lies. They realize that Mark Golding is honest to the T. Mark Golding got all the I's, cross all the T, and the list goes on and on, right? So that is a situation.
But you know what happened? You know what a mystic sensation? Here's what. They were caught off guard in the last election because they did not have expected, they did not expect that Mark Golding would have come out, the PNP would have come out and beaten them at the polls, because he improved on their numbers from 2020, from 2016, because remember they didn't have an election, local government election in 2020. So he improved on the numbers, and everybody, they're so caught off guard now. It's like, okay, so how then can we stop this man? So they are grasping at straws and they're throwing things to the wall, hoping that something would stick. It's not sticking and everything is backfiring on them. Why can't they just be honorable? Just be honorable and truthful and run a campaign that is above board and decent, and let the Jamaican people choose. You don't have to go out there and buy vote like Darrell Vaz, who likes to buy people vote.
And then the thing, Sister Mara, what you notice that the PSOJ, quick, you understand, to call out Mark Golding and any little foolishness. And the situations with Andrew Holness, right? They don't want to call it out.
Exactly.
Because we are not hearing the PSOJ coming out and said, no, man, right? You can't be that 3 years and your statutory declaration cannot be certified.
Exactly. Exactly. That is problematic. That is problematic.
Right? This is serious.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to just play the reason why, because Mark Golding is going to hold them feet to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing everything to avoid that. So, right, let us just share this clip right here.
Them already start with them antics. Them start with them distraction. Them trying to fool the people in all kind of ways. We're not going to be fooled. Country needs leadership with integrity. The country needs leadership that the people can have trust and confidence in. We need a prime minister whose integrity commission statutory declarations can be certified and published in accordance with law. We have not put any ban or gag order on any of our MPs or senators talking about integrity commission issues. The country is watching while he goes on with his distraction and his antics, while his integrity commission filings can't be certified. And they know that we have to get out the Jamaica Labour Party because they have lost their way. So comrades, the JLP are reeling from the blow that they received. Worse now after that, when the budget debate was on and they walked out of their own parliament and left us without a quorum, and I had to finish my speech on Duke Street on an old wall reminiscent of 1938, and we polled the country afterwards. The PNP 8 points ahead of the Jamaica Labour Party. Comrades are coming from way behind in those 2 years, moving from 13 behind to 8 ahead. So we are in a place now, comrades, where we can move to take back Jamaica House.
All right. I wonder if them hear this. I want them to be listening. Right? I want them to hear that, Sister Maria. You have anything to say? As it relates to, because we endorse them, you know?
Yeah, but and here's the thing, Opposition Leader Golding is right, because when the Prime Minister walked out, not only did he walk on the opposition, he walked out on the country that he's the leader of.
Exactly.
He walked out on the Jamaican people. He said to the Jamaican people, I do not care about you. I don't respect you enough to sit here like a man, like a leader, and listen to my counterpart speak. That is what he did, and he's yet to apologize.
Yes.
So he's arrogant, he's a narcissist, and he has no respect for the Jamaican people.
No respect.
This is a big spender government, and they spend so much money you don't see the results for it. No results on the ground, but they spend the most money. So Mark Golding is right. They don't know what to do with themselves because they were shocked into a reality that the Jamaican people not really with you, because what he did in 2020, calling an election in the height of a pandemic, was criminal.
Exactly.
Because what he exposed the people to COVID, and then what did he do after he won? charge him $200,000 for not wearing a mask. So you see how cruel this man is. If he opened it, and then when he won, he said, no more parties, no more this, no more that. So why did you do it for yourself? And like PJ Patterson said when he did that event at UWI, if you can call an election in COVID, you have no reason to say no, you're not going to call an election for 2 years.
Exactly.
You call an election the height of a pandemic. And when you got the vote, because most people chose to stay home.
So it wasn't a
because
true. It was.
Yeah, what you say? No, what you say, Anne-Marie?
No, I said it wasn't a true victory. It was by.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was exactly because the people chose. You're right. They chose health and safety first, and then he's not after. What did he do after that? All these young people he's throwing in, carrying them to having them locked up. Warmington said he's exempt, so he's not. The rules don't apply to him, but it applies to poor people's children. If they cannot afford to buy a tin mackerel, how are they going to pay $200,000 for not wearing a mask?
You know what Brittany said? Brittany said after he won, he threw poison on the people.
He said that he would have done that.
Yeah, and he did.
And he did.
Okay.
And he did.
Let us get into this clip and see how they are so desperate. Sister Maria, I want you to hear this next clip. Yeah. Look at the desperation with these people.
And as always, we invite you to weigh in live in the comments section. Now, we're closing out the week with our performance ratings. We've heard your views on the government's performance, the opposition's performance, and we previously asked members of the public to rate the performance of the Andrew Holness, of Andrew Holness as Prime Minister. So for public opinion this evening, we're asking, how would you rate the performance of opposition leader Mark Golding on a scale of 1 to 5?
If Mark Golding is trailing his party in the rankings or in all the survey that has been done, I don't think there's much difference between Mark Golding and his party. Okay? So I don't have a favorite ranking for Mark Golding. This has been really poor of Mark Golding. I'll give Mark Golding 1 out of 5.
Because the scale is 1 to 5. That's why I'm able to rank him, so I'll give him a 1. But really and truly, it doesn't even belong, and that is way below 1. The thing is, Mark Golding doesn't have our position, doesn't have a plan or anything. All he's doing is just jumping from issue to issue. If he hears something, he jumps on it and quite often gets it wrong.
All right, the views of the people there. If you're just joining us, we're asking you to rate the performance of opposition leader Mark Golding on a scale of 1 to 5. Let's go to our Twitter space where Jay Brown is saying 1. Mark Golding used to be a good politician and then he became a party leader and lost his way. Sad to see what he has become. All right. Griot says -6. Let's see. Proud Jamaica for Life is saying, I think he should take a look at these comments. Graham Jervis, 2 out of 5, saying that he expected more, but Mark Golding fell into the pretending. Okay. This is Kiz in Style, says he gets no points from me. Nothing to declare, 2 out of 5. He scores some points on the legislative side of things, but hitching his horse to every negative bandwagon or opposing every planned project is a no-no. All right. Grace Davidson says he is a brilliant lawyer and he contributed a lot to Parliament so far that I would give him 4, but he needs to improve on his leadership skills. C-Mac is giving Mark a 0. Legendary 876 is saying, after Mr. Golding donated to the Ukrainian students, I knew he was a real one. 5 out of 5. Paper Soldier JA says 1 for no traction. Okay, wow. I'll leave it at 1. Masa says -0. Michelle says 0. Striker says 2. The real Nick says, I've yet to hear the opposition leader on any credible ideas that he would like to pursue if elected. All he does is jump onto any soundbite and bandwagon to be relevant. Like, what is the plan to grow Jamaica at a higher percentage than the present government? I give him a...
All right.
So,
you know, those people are real dingbats.
So they talk to people who were outside the classroom standing underneath a mango tree where all the big mangoes were.
Exactly. And no, there was not even a mango under the tree for that they could stone it. You see how these people are real dingbats, because here's the thing. Which Mark Golding are they talking about? The person, you know, because I'm saying to myself, hold on a second. You know how many legislation Mark Golding brought to Parliament and the JLP shut it down? So I have no idea what she thought. And then she said, this was done June 23rd, which was just the other day.
Yes.
So does she realize that Mark Golding beat him in the election? So if he didn't have a platform and he was jumping on every negative bandwagon, how then could he have marshaled his party to a victory over the JLP? Because for you to get over he got over almost 80,000 more votes than the last election.
Yes.
Those are people. That's not a figment of anybody's imagination. So if he got more people than the last election, than the JLP has gotten, what does that say? That people, what he's saying, he has a message that is resonating with the people.
Exactly.
And it is not Mark Golding's job to come and do Andrew's job for him. As Andrew saying he's the best baby father. Well, he can stay there and be baby father. We don't need any baby father for the country. We need a leader. And so he needs to come up with ideas as how he can better manage. But here's the thing, and we must understand that Mark Golding cannot do it alone. He's going to need a cabinet that works. He's going to need the people to understand. He needs the councillors and the MPs to work. But he doesn't know what he's going to inherit from this Jamaica Labour Party government in terms of an economy and in terms of what money is available. So we have to be very careful and understand that this government cannot be trusted. And so when Mark Golding takes over, he has to make sure he shares with the people exactly what is happening on a regular basis, so the Jamaican people know what is happening.
Well, the poll that I just listened to, Sister Maria, it is like, let me try to compare. The poll that we just listened to is like, go to Andrew Holness and tell him to vote for PNP,
Exactly. Yeah.
You understand?
You see, they're not thinking.
They claim that they have done whatever poll. You know who did the poll?
You have to consider the source.
Who did the poll?
Exactly. You have to, they threw that the two little ones in there just to kind of make it look good. But one doesn't need a poll. Because you beat them.
That's a reverse psychology. Because they go on JLP platform. No one on JLP they hearted. No one there is going to talk good about Mark Golding.
No. Even if he did good to benefit them, they would say no.
Who they were asking amongst the poll, amongst those persons are like Rusty and this one that is working. And Chaka John.
Yeah.
What they expect?
Yeah.
What kind of answers they expect from them?
It's a metal poll they were conducting, not a real research.
It's crazy. All right.
Exactly.
Now, let us go back into putting here, and these are the last two clips that we'll be playing here, right? Because we going back over this. Okay. So let us get into this. Prime Minister Holness defend 40 billion spark program. Right. This is the next catastrophe, Sister Maria. Right. Let us get into the meat of this thing here. Prime Minister Holness defend 40 billion spark program.
An exuberant Andrew Holness is defending his government and hitting back at opposition critics of his $40 billion spark program. The initiative, set to modernize more than 2,000 roads island-wide, has come under immense scrutiny amid ongoing community consultations. Earlier this month, the National Works Agency, NWA, indicated that of the 8 companies that submitted international bids at the pre-qualifying stage, the 2 local applicants were unsuccessful. More recently, Deputy Portmore Mayor, the PNP's Alric Campbell, expressed concerns about transparency and the absence of detailed cost estimates. The Prime Minister brushed off those critiques as jealousy.
If the PNP did ever say they was going to a spark program, they would have borrowed the money. Because they never run the economy in a way to do it. And that is why them bad mind the spark program. Yes. Because them wish them could have done it.
Holness is equally indignant about what he describes as disinformation, suggesting the opposition lacks credibility to make certain critiques.
I spend most of my time trying to correct things that started under them, that should have been done well. If you had the country for 18 and a half years, we shouldn't be talking about some of the roads that are still not repaired.
Since May 2, the government has completed 24 consultations covering 21 constituencies. Works Minister Robert Morgan had recently announced that a team had identified priority roads and will conduct inspections and rapid assessments to determine preliminary costs. Additionally, a list has been forwarded to the National Water Commission, NWC, to assess the status of water lines along these roads.
When you hear people talk and accuse, is them conscience of all of them, you know. This program has taken into consideration the decades of frustration of the Jamaican people regarding how their taxpayers' dollars have been spent, or their borrowed money has been spent. And we have designed a program for transparency, for efficiency, for cost effectiveness, and for quality.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
No, Andrew is a special kind of liar, not fool you. Andrew is special. Because when he's talking about transparency and all those fancy words that he's talking about, does he realize that he's projecting? Because here's the thing. This is a man whose statutory declarations have not been certified. Have not been certified. So how on God's green earth? And what he's saying about that, they did the managing thing. It was Portia and Peter Phillips who fixed the economy that he was a part of that was ruined. So he needs to check himself before he wreck himself. You understand me? It was they set the thing on a path that he's forced to follow. Remember, he was Minister of Education,
Yes.
And then he handed it over to Royal Reid. What happened there? What happened there? Exactly. And Royal Reid is yet to be fully prosecuted because they have a DPP who is not doing the job of the people. She's doing the job of the government. Exactly. And collecting taxpayers' money on top of it. So when Andrew, he likes to call people bad man, but who more bad man than Andrew one is? Seriously, think about it seriously. He just walk and pick up things from people, don't know how it was implemented, and just come and throw it on the Jamaican people without any implementation. So he lacks the depth to talk to anybody about good governance and transparency. He's not. No, Andrew Holness cannot be the person to talk about that, because you look at him and his personal situation tells you that he has a problem with transparency and good governance.
But look at this now, Maria. Let us backtrack and let the people understand certain things. Because they continue talking about 18 years or 18 and a half years. Let us backtrack, people. Let us backtrack. Now remember that PG, right?
Yeah.
Being in power, PG did so many things and end of PGA leadership, PGA finished with the IMF, paid off the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. When Bruce Golding came in 2007, what happened? Bruce Golding went back to the IMF, right? Got the loans from the IMF. But as it relates to certain austerity measures, right, he didn't follow through. And so then the IMF and Bruce Golding fall out of grace.
Exactly. He wasn't paying the bills, basically. That's what he wasn't.
Right? So let us teach Andrew Holness the history too. Remember Andrew Holness, that Bruce Golding and the IMF fall out of grace. Now, Portia came in because what Bruce Golding did, right, in its time was to sell out most of Jamaica assets, like Air Jamaica, divest most of them, right? So people need to go back in the history, right, and look for that. It is Bruce Golding who divest most of Jamaica's assets. And even the airline, right, they were blaming PGA. It was PGA who divested it, you know, and PGA don't have nothing to do with it, you know. It is Bruce Golding who divested the airline and divested the sugar factory and all of this, right? Now, the shamble that Bruce Golding left the economy in, Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips, right, has to take on that mess that Bruce Golding created. That mess that Bruce Golding created. And you know, this is one of the reasons why I am beating Bruce. Because it is Bruce who unleashed Andrew Holness and us.
Yes.
It is Bruce Golding who unleashed Andrew Holness and us. And so here we are today, that after Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips fixed the economy, right, and have to go to the IMF, right, and settle on the IMF and deal with certain austerity measures. Remember that we tie our we have to ban our belly, right, and deal with wage freeze. You understand, to make sure that we were on track. And Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips put back the country on track.
But stick up in there, Byron. Stick up in there. And that is why I say we have to be careful, because Mark Golding does not know what he's going to inherit when he takes over. He really doesn't know, you know.
All right.
Because after this 200% that they have given themselves and the measly 20% I give the public service workers, and they thought that, and you think teachers are getting, and not only teachers, police, and all of them that got this money, you think that they have gotten an increase, but they have taken more than they have given to them. They have taken back more than they have given to them. So in fact, they are getting less money. So all of these things are going to play out when a Mark Golding administration takes over. You're going to see the books.
Exactly.
And then Andrew Holness is talking about transparency. $1.7 trillion is unaccounted for. Right. 2 years of a PNP administration and 8 years of Andrew Holness administration. Right. So what is he saying?
Well, I mean, let's just bring up that right away. And right, as what Maria spoke there, right, which that will be the final clip for the night here.
The Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, JAMP, views as worrying the revelation that some government ministries have been unable to properly account for trillions spent over a 10-year period. Executive Director Jeanette Calder says the permanent secretaries must be called to answer. How was the money spent? That's the trillion-dollar question being asked by Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis. In a Gleaner article, it was revealed that the Auditor General's department is being hindered from independently assessing how more than $1.6 trillion was utilized between two ministries and the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM. Those ministries are the Education and Health ministries. Mrs. Monroe Ellis noted that for 9 fiscal years, spanning 2012-2013 to 2018-19 and 2021-2022 to 2022-23, Parliament approved $902 billion, representing 13.7% of the national budget, to manage and administer public education in Jamaica. However, no appropriation account was done. It was a similar case for the Health Ministry, which Parliament had approved $695 billion to. The Auditor General said the accounting officer in the ministry submitted 15 of the 22 appropriation accounts for financial years 2013-2014 to 2022-23, but those did not meet the standards for submission. As for the Office of the Prime Minister, 3 appropriation accounts representing an accumulated budgetary allocation of approximately $12.02 billion are outstanding. Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder, says based on the revelation, the country has been left in a quandary. She says the issue begins and ends with the permanent secretaries.
The permanent secretary needs to make sure that after 4 months when the year ends, she sends her report to Parliament to say, what have we done with the people's money? All right. When that don't happen, Delia, who's supposed to come and say, what are going on? The people who get the report. Yes. Who are those? Are parliamentarians. So we have parliamentarians, for example, the Ministry of Health, for 10 years has not told our parliamentarians, told our Auditor General what they have done with our money. How much money we're talking about? Just a little bit under $700 billion. And that is a report that they have gotten every year for the last 10 years till it add up to $700 billion. What is the work our parliamentarians are doing for us?
She says what needs to be done is for citizens to understand the accountability framework, because only then will people be truly held accountable for the crisis facing the country.
Who do we call for? The first time something goes wrong. The minister. Gentle folks, there are 7. No, Simone, that's the thing. There are 17 people in government with more teeth than a minister to sanction and to hold people to account. We don't know them things, Adelia. So when these things go wrong, who we call? The political representative, who in the law has the least amount of power to do something about sanctioning and holding people to account.
All right, so the chat is said. Then, of course, we have to hold them to an account. Here, the Prime Minister, right, is telling us clearly what to do. So let us listen to the Prime Minister, because look at that. $1.7 trillion, right? Over 10 years period, right? And you're going to tell me, particularly when it comes to the $600 billion, right? Where the Ministry of Health is concerned.
Yeah.
Sister, right? And Tufton came on the program here. And Tufton being the head at the ministry, right? As it relates to the appropriate account, right? Not properly supervising, right? Because guess what?
He blamed it on the PNP. He said it's a former administration. He blamed it on them, you know, and I'm like, you realize that doesn't make any sense.
So then, year one then, right? How did you account? How did you run that ministry in terms of, you understand, proper accounting, right? Because you have to be checking on these things each year, and you make all of those years gone by, your 8 years gone by, and the accumulation of that, you understand, is over $600 billion, and you're spinning around and okay, it's a PNP 2 years. you're comparing the PNP, right? And they have to understand. I want to make people to understand that this particular permanent the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, Sister Murray, right, was employed by Bruce Golding. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Was employed by Bruce Golding. So when we talk about the 2 years for PNP, right?
Now, he was the permanent secretary.
He was a permanent secretary, right? Under Bruce Golding. Employed by Bruce Golding. Put there by Bruce Golding. So then, and Bruce Golding lived 2011. So we come back the 2 year. We could defend the 2 year that one I talk about and try to blame PNP in the 2 year now. In the 2011, Andrew Holness not telling the people that he shared a part of that government in 2011. He took over from Portia Simpson. He took over from Bruce Golding in 2011.
Right.
Right? And ran the election in 2012 and lost the election. So you tell me now, PNP in 2013 and 2014, as it relates to the PNP, flagged them, right? For 2 years.
Yes.
That PNP utilized. PNP flagged them within the 2 years. So the destruction happening from Bruce Golding time, from Bruce Golding employing him, until when Andrew took over the reign, right? He got loose. Nothing being done.
But what the minister said, which I kind of find, crazy, is that to do the investigation, some people are dead, some people have migrated. But I'm thinking to myself, but there has to be a recording system in place because the permanent secretary being the person responsible. So it doesn't matter who is dead or who is alive. That is supposed to be there. So, go back to that system. So
the permanent secretary responsible for all accounting activities. And you're going to tell me that he has been there from God, he knows when, right? And has not been held accountable.
Exactly.
And as a matter of fact, the system of corruption is defending him. Because they're all feeding out of the trough. Right? Okay. So then, they realize now that the system is broken. Let me ask Christopher Tufton, how long it is going to take him to fix this system?
To fix the system. Yes. When did he find out? How long ago has he known about it? And since he has known about it, what has he been doing to correct it?
Yes. Know that let us give the benefit of the doubt now. Right? This is a new question for Tufton. Right? I am giving you the benefit of the doubt then. So-called. Now you found out about the system. What are you going to do? You understand, to make sure that you have proper checks and balance, and so that things can
be
till far. Is Christopher Tufton is currently fixing that system? No, he's not. No,
exactly.
He's not.
But he says they're spending the most money. He said they're spending the most. He said this is the first administration to spend the most money in the history of the country since independence, but it's not translated on the ground. You still have hospitals without ventilators, CT scans, MRI machines. So, I mean, what are you talking about?
Yes, they spend the most money.
Right? With the least results.
Least been done. And majority of the money spent, it just take a U-turn in their pockets. The money gone, it take a U-turn in their pockets, and they know that, right? And so then they prefer to have those gaps, right, being there, right? They don't want to fix those gaps, because if they fix those gaps, then they will have to be held accountable. So you're going to tell me that Christopher Tufton, as it relates to the time period that him being the helm of that institution has done nothing as it relates to fix those vulnerabilities. Remember, you know, year one, he spent 8 years, year one, right? Remember, the appropriation account, right, is not coming through. What you do? You didn't do anything to it. Year
Exactly.
two,
Yeah.
the same thing. What you do? Nothing to it. Year three, the same thing. Nothing. Year four, nothing. Year five, nothing. Year six, nothing. Goes on to, as we speak now, as it relates to $600 billion accounted for, unaccounted for, right? $700 billion unaccounted for. What Christopher Tufton is doing now to fix the problem?
Okay, but also let's go back to Andrew Holness, who says 18 years and they have been doing nothing and he's fixing. So in the 8 years that almost 8 years that he has been there, if he was fixing and cleaning up and whatever, do you think we would have the situation that we're having now with block drains? And we wouldn't. So he was doing nothing either. You know, he was doing nothing either.
And
so he's nothing. It's not like he just took over and it's a year into his administration. No, it's 8 years. So what have you done? And you spend the most money, least results, and all you can hear is that money missing in every nook and every cranny. Money is unaccounted for, misappropriated. So what kind of transparency is he talking about? How can you have transparency though when you put a gag order on the IC and you put a gag order on your member on your MP? That's not transparency. That's dictatorship. That's corruption.
Right. And so then we look at all these things. And, you know, he's talking about, right? He's the one who said that we need to hold the government accountable. So without delay, listen to this, Sister Maria. Listen to this.
I don't want you to come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Question, you want to ask Chopper John now? Chopper John, may I talk to specifically. So based on what the Prime Minister said, why you want to sue us? And what sort of lies that we are telling? We are holding the Prime Minister accountable. Who want to hold the Prime Minister accountable? The Prime Minister asks us to hold him accountable. So how the Prime Minister
he was in opposition, you know, so he had big chat, you know. He was in opposition, so he had big chat. Now that he's Prime Minister, I'm a big chat and back active weak because he now doesn't want to be held to the same standard that he was holding the PNP. So he said, you know, it applies to them, but not to us. Don't do it over here. Let's keep it over there. That's not how it works. And you can find a video for every single to hold on Andrew Holness, to use against Andrew Holness right this minute. Exactly. You can find a video of something he said that applies to him now. Remember what he did to Richard Azan?
Exactly.
Up in Spalding, and Richard Azan did not benefit from it. 6 vendors benefited because it took them out of the sun. 6 vendors benefited, and it was a dark day. So what do you call this now? When you have the Prime Minister, your statutory declarations are uncertified. Your wife is building an $800 million project.
Yes.
That we know. That is what we know of. What about the others that we don't know of? Who owns truck from who don't own truck, and MPs own gas station from who don't own gas station. So it's like a free-for-all with taxpayers' money. Look what happened with the KSMC, where people are talking about this woman. She I don't know how she didn't get into she didn't burst a gasket in her head when she was quarreling with that guy Ennis And so you fool your craw. Yes, they fill their craws because look, in 3 months, look what the current mayor has done to downtown Kingston. That they were occupying, occupied for 8 years. So Andrew wanted to have that conversation. 8 years they were there as councillors, and they did nothing. The dirty water was run. They didn't care enough about the people to fix their market. The people didn't even know that they could have conversations with the mayor and of the municipality. And look at it now. So if he wants to talk about transparency, he has to look at himself.
Well, Sister Mara, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our final clip for tonight. Daisy, was a wonderful.
Always a pleasure, my friends. Always a pleasure. Much respect to you and Marie. And listen, the struggle continues, you know.
Struggle continues.
Because now we have to start worrying about the situation in Jamaica with Beryl, and will we be called upon now to help?
Exactly.
Our people, you know, cannot leave them stranded.
No, and I mean, you know, and that's why we have to keep connected, right? As what they're going through, right, and facing, right, the storm. So we are just hoping, we are praying, and of course we'll be, you know, calling, you know, friends and family tomorrow, see how they are keeping up, right? And of course, we'll be, you know, in tune. We're not going to leave our people alone.
Exactly. Not at all. Not at all.
Right. So,
but we have to fight. But you know what it is too? We have to, whatever we have to do, we have to work through NGOs and non-profits. We cannot trust the government with any money.
No. And, you know, let me say this. Honestly, I think Andrew Holness and Juliet Holness, right? This as a result of Beryl passing through, right? I don't think they get to
we know they didn't
table the report today.
No man, they're happy campers. What? When they heard that, they were what? Listen to me. They could not have written a better script. When they heard that we're gonna have a hurricane, they were in hugs heaven. Happy joy for them.
Because now they can get to stretch that out, you know.
They can stretch it out, yeah. And Andrew, now we have to watch Andrew because you see he likes to do states of emergencies even when it is unnecessary.
Yes.
You know, he's a man that's like violate the constitution and violate the rights of the people. So we have to watch him now.
So I mean,
don't pressure the Jamaicans anymore than they're being pressured. And I know he's going to ask the diaspora to help and the this and the that. Really? Yeah. People in the diaspora don't mind helping, but it will be done through people on the ground that can be trusted. The government cannot be trusted. Because remember during COVID how much money they got? And they came up here and Babsy Grange left with over $400,000. Where was that money spent? How was it spent? They cannot be trusted. The people are still suffering now. Exactly. They cannot be trusted.
Diana Atkinson said remittances line were very long today. You are already called to assist. And it is one of the things in terms of, you know, for us to assist, of course, we have to willingly do that scenario because we understand the peril. You understand? I mean, the people were already in a predicament.
Exactly.
The predicament that the people were in, right, prior to dealing with this storm, and this now is going to be added. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know,
it's too much.
It's just too much. It's just too much on the people. And then the government at the end of the day has no conscience. Dog, name them conscience.
Yeah, man, them broke coconuts for them, yeah, man.
Right? But, you know, of course, we still connected and we still have to do what we have to do.
Yes, it's the Jamaican people that are most important, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so then, it is what it is. But we still do the best, right? Sending out the prayers. You understand? And I hope the people are listening, you know. particularly
Yes, me too.
people who live right on the low line areas.
Low-lying areas, oh gosh.
Exactly, people who
The
need
elderly, yeah, the disabled, you know, the
exactly
homeless, the homeless.
right. We show them videos of many drains being blocked, many drains not being cleaned for years. And so then that is now going to aid flooding and all sort of things that
Exactly.
are going to happen. Now, and one of the things that I need to tell the people, that when them see that a particular area flood, don't force them way going through.
No.
I want to, you know, sometimes you wonder, you know, where, you know, I mean, where is the thinking?
Yeah,
Right?
and if you see your neighbor's door, don't rob your neighbor, you know. Try to secure your neighbor. I mean, don't add any more pain to the whatever pain they're already going through. You don't need to add to that. So young people, step up and be the best of your better selves and care for one another, because you know something, we're all in this together. But for the grace of God, go you and go I, you know?
Yes, right? Not because people are vulnerable, you need to take advantage of
No,
them.
don't take advantage of them. Not at all.
Reach out and help them, right?
Exactly.
The elderly and the extreme young and vulnerable.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The homeless.
And the homeless, right? Because look at, you know, we have many homeless who don't even know, they don't even know if a storm come.
They don't know.
We have a lot of
mentally ill out there in the streets.
People on the street don't even know that storm is coming.
Yeah.
And but I have to ask this question. What sort of preparation that the government is making towards these people, mentally ill people? Or are they, what sort of move to secure them?
Yes. I know the mayor of downtown of KSMC was doing something to remove them off the streets and get them into safety, you know? So I hope everybody is doing that, because they're human beings.
Yes, you know,
we're all and they're Jamaicans too. They're human beings no matter what.
Well, we know that Swaby is going to do his best, right?
Yeah.
In his deck of odds, right? Because we know that Swaby have the heart, right? And have love for the people, genuine representation. So I don't worry about Swaby area, right? But we are talking about we have to work collectively as a Jamaican. Right?
Yes.
Issues, right? And care for the vulnerable amongst us, right? Care for them. And make sure, you understand, we call upon our brothers, call upon our sisters. Check on your neighbor, though.
And be our brother's keeper, you know, be our brothers and sisters' keeper. Step up to the plate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is it, you know. When it comes to time like this, whatever feelings we have inside, we have to put that away, and that's where that.
Exactly.
Like this, we say people, we say Jamaica. You understand? And know that really and truly we have to love our brothers and sisters.
True.
Jamaica is a lyrical place, you know. And no better than yard.
Yeah. God bless.
I might be here in Canada, but honestly, I can't love Canada like how me love my own. You understand? Yes.
Right.
But I mean, the reason for me to leave, right, is the very same reasons why many people leave.
Exactly.
And this goes
and that is why we want better. We want better, because the thing is, it's not that, you know, Jamaica don't have a money problem, you know, it has a corruption problem. And the system, and that's why when people talk about a third party, I say it's one thing to talk about the third party, but it's another thing to correct the system of corruption, to hold people accountable, because you will be getting a new set of people hungrier than who are there now to just come in and start to scrape for themselves. But if you hold people accountable now, you can start changing the system from within. So we have to deal with the system of corruption.
Look how many things have gone wrong with this Andrew Holness-led government, and not one person's being held accountable. Right?
Exactly.
It is such a disgrace. It is so despicable to see Rural Reed, right?
Yeah.
Seems like
he was paid up by JC.
Seems like he's now in the 9-day fora. Okay, that blow off, so we can come back out now. You understand? The man start campaign again.
No shame.
The man start campaign again, but this goes to the length and breadth to tell you, you understand, the sort of government that you are dealing with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? I'm going to see these things. Not one person's being held accountable. Right? We see Dalrymple, you understand, offended the system, and the government put our back bench and want to run our back again.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Dalrymple not
Why has there not been a by-election in that seat? You see how corrupt. That's what when you talk, you hear is misinformation and fake news. I mean, you're doing the very thing. If people are looking at it and asking, why has there not been do like what you did in Portland?
Just look at that.
But remember that Dalrymple's file was not sent to the appropriate authorities. It was sent to Andrew Holness to make a decision.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Dalrymple file sent to Andrew Holness, who currently on an investigation.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, man, not a real place.
No,
but thief no loves to thief carry long bag, you know.
It's a real cartoon strip.
It is a cartoon strip.
Dalrymple's case sent to Andrew Holness to discipline Dalrymple.
And not a person whose statutory declarations can be certified.
No. Father God, if you're not busy, come here.
And indeed. Yeah.
And this is a joke. You understand? The Prime Minister on an investigation as it relates to illicit enrichment. That means his wife is a part of the subject of the investigation. And she is the Speaker of the House. And not only that she is the Speaker of the House, she sits on the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee.
Yeah, so basically she's policing herself.
Exactly. She's looking over her own wrongdoing.
Yep.
She's looking over her own wrongdoing. Now you tell me now. This is, and these are the lies that they claim that you are telling. These are the disinformation, the misinformation they claim that we are telling. So I want to ask Jamaican people if what we are saying, if it is not true.
No, you must see it and just turn a blind eye because they are not in opposition. They are government, so just leave them be. Don't complain, don't criticize, just let it be. Let it ride. Right. On what planet? But as like somebody in this chat said, Alisa said he think this is a Wakanda. Yes, he did say, compared to Wakanda, Wakanda is a mythical place. It doesn't exist in real life.
I mean, come on, people are not stupid. And then what? People need to keep silent while while our treasury, you understand,
is being pilfered. Yes, and the people suffering. Yeah, they must just pilfer it. Yes.
Who's going to pay it back? Who is going to pay it back? We know.
Doesn't care.
So you're living on the backs of the poor people, living on our backs, right? And then inflation start to go above our necks. You understand? It's crazy.
And the schools can't get fixed, and the hospitals can't get needed equipment. They cannot get proper pharmaceuticals. They cannot get toiletries. I mean, come on now.
Because look at it now. From 2021, he's going to say that okay, he's going to have a statutory declaration certified. And now come back now in 2024, and the same thing he's saying.
Same thing.
He'll get it certified.
And if this was Mark Golding, the thing that he would be saying about Mark Golding right now, and that is the hypocrisy we are talking about. That the PSOJ and the media and the civil society who sit down and accept this as normal. But if this was Mark Golding, they say, he would be unfit for office.
Can you imagine? When they're supposed to talk about statutory declaration, you're talking about dual citizenship. And as much as they find other destruction, and let me say this, you are going to have them coming up with more destruction, you understand, for us not to speak about the statutory declaration. But it is going to be the statutory declaration. Andrew Holness needs to resign.
True.
And the PSOJ needs to come out and speak up as it relates to Andrew Holness and our inability to have his statutory declaration certified. Right? People need to, I mean, although you know, we have a situation with the hurricane, but we can't lose focus. It is Andrew Holness' statutory declaration, the illicit six, because these are the things that causing the inflation in Jamaica. Corruption.
It's eating the people alive. It's eating the people alive. Yeah.
Corruption. If we get rid of the corruption.
Come on, beautiful place. Beautiful place. Singapore would have non-Jamaica. Yeah. Yeah. Because that money, you know, Baron, that money that we are losing to corruption would be, it is taken away from the hospitals and from the schools and from the roads. That's what it is doing, you know.
Just imagine,
it translates to people.
1.7 trillion. You know how much things that could have done? How much things that could have done?
I say that all the time.
And yet they want to, you know what? You know how Tufton want to spend this. This is the way how Tufton want to spend this. Tufton want to spend this. Although you hear about 600 billion unable to be accounted for, the money is not stolen. It being used, but because of the lack of
the PNP
to keep a track, right? And to the fact that you want to put everything now through that gap, through the system, and the system need to upgrade and so forth and so forth. So all of that, you know, those are the reasons why 1.7 trillion cannot be accounted for. It is not stolen, it is stolen. So that is the propaganda, and that is this and that is that, and blah blah blah. You understand? And they have the gaps there. They have the gaps there. No one want to fix it because it is the gap.
But how long has he been minister, Byron? How long has he been minister? And what has he done to correct the situation that he inherited a system of unaccounted of lack of accountability. What has he done since to correct it, to make sure money is not just dripping away? Look at Western Regional and look at Cornwall Regional, and then you'll see why we have the Beverly Regional situation going on. So when he talks, you know, there's proof that he is also a part of the problem that he says he inherited, because he has not fixed it. Why?
All right.
And then you don't want anybody to talk about market me, because then that was money given for a project. Was it put to tender? You see how, you know, these are the things that they don't want people to talk about, but it happened.
Right. So then, all right. If you look on the amount that the brags that they spend on healthcare, you spend all of that you brag that you spend, right? Why the healthcare service, right, cannot benefit the people who use that service, right? We are the beds. The billions that you spend. We are the beds. We are the ventilators.
Exactly.
So we are not talking about the system that created gaps and so forth. The billions that you claim say you spend, where it is.
Where is it? Exactly. Exactly.
Translating in service to the people. And then you can't say that we are lying, because the United States hit you with a level 3 advisory. A level 3 advisory. So you want to say that the United States is wrong? Because unless you're saying that, are you saying that the United States is wrong?
But that is one thing. Look at what happened to Kingsley Cooper. That his sister Carolyn wrote an article in the Gleaner about his experience. Now remember, Kingsley Cooper can afford proper medical attention.
Yes.
And he became a victim of the very system that we have been speaking out again about.
And all you have.
So make some sense.
Exactly. Christopher Tufton spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. You understand? Yes. So he is the best spin doctor that the Jamaica Labour Party have. Right? But he could not spin, right? On town hall. Right? He couldn't spin on the town hall. So what he had done now is to kick out the internet. And Was the IT report dealt with today by the speaker?
No.
No. No, Egla. That wasn't done, and
they get a temporary safeguard for
they get a temporary safeguard, but they are going to
Oh man, listen to me. They could jump up and kiss the hurricane, they would, because they're so happy.
Let me tell you, they're happy that the hurricane come.
Of course they are. Of course they are. God buys them some time.
Exactly.
Anyway, it was a really good show. I appreciated being on.
All right.
Blessing. And to everybody in the chat, those of you in Jamaica, please be safe. Those of you, check up on your relatives and make sure everybody is okay, you know. But restful night to everybody.
All right.
So
and
God bless.
Really appreciate that.
No worries, man. Anytime, anytime.
Bless up yourself.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
man.
Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we appreciate you staying tuned to us, right? And we want to say big thanks, right? And so remember now, right? Please be safe, right? We cannot stress that as much, right? Please, my people, protect yourself. My brothers and sisters, protect yourself, right? It is only one life, and you have to protect them. All right. So, once again, thank you very much, right? And we will tune in back on Friday. All right.
On the Titans on Thursday.
On Titans on Thursday. All right. So, thank you. All right. Bless up.
Okay, guys. Stay safe. We'll be praying for each and every one. Stay blessed.
All right.